Coming to you from the award-winning Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge, PCA's 2024 Best of Leaf Midwest Cigar Bar, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge, it's the Final Third Podcast.
Well, welcome back to the Final Third Podcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Will.
I'm Scott.
I'm Mike.
I can be Will today. I'm the only one here.
Yes,
that's
you
right.
are
You
Will.
can be Will.
That's
Yes.
right, yeah.
Yes.
So, for the first time in existence of this podcast, I am now the shortest beard on the podcast.
It's weird, man.
You look real stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, I know I do. I know I do. Yeah. That's the problem
What
when,
an
when you
idiot.
gain weight and then you cut the beard and your chin's up here and it's like everything's out. It's
I
like,
don't
oh,
want to know what's under there
It's a
anymore.
round ball.
Yeah, I'm
Try not
good.
to keep that, so.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not waiting on this cigar, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm
like,
not either.
you better
Welcome
start
back.
introducing it because I've been waiting for like a week and a half to
Yes.
smoke this.
We've been waiting for months for this.
Exactly.
So we
yeah.
are smoking the McAuliffe Purple. So this is the new release coming out after PCA, which is the middle of April. Hopefully everyone will have these that has McAuliffe by the end of April, 1st of May. I've smoked a couple of these already, and I think these are fantastic. I know Will Breeden's going to be calling in here in a little while, too.
Hopefully.
He smoked one,
He's on a plane.
so we're excited to get into this cigar. So
Yeah, I think he's going to North Carolina, so.
Colorado.
Oh, Colorado.
He's going to
Colorado.
Vail,
Vail,
Colorado.
Yeah, yep.
Ah, okay. So he should be.
We're close.
I think he thought he'd be at Vail about 1:30ish, so we'll see.
By Mike's GPS.
So we're
you were
smoking
close.
this, and then we are today. We're going to have the boys from Larrikin, their Larrikin Bourbon Company on.
Yeah, Greg Keeley will be joining us shortly.
So we're excited about that. And then Will brought us in a bottle of the West Fork. This was the pick from Indiana Liquor Group and Anderson Speedway. So and I think Noble Wine as well.
Oh, nice.
So it's going to be a collaboration. We're going to try that today too, and then we'll drink some more bourbon.
All right, well, let's get into this cigar.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So the cold draw, some nice fruity notes there, some kind of the raisin that you often get. Yep.
I get,
Yep.
and I still get it the same as I did the first time. I get oatmeal cream cookie.
Oatmeal, huh?
Oatmeal. Cookie, not.
Oatmeal cookie, not just oatmeal,
No,
not
no.
just rolled oats.
Oh,
packet winner for the day.
rolled oats is just stupid.
Did you see my name on the...
Just stupid.
I know
stupid.
Scott didn't see it because he didn't fill out his bracket like a dumbass.
I did not.
My name on there was the Oatmeal Bandit. That was...
Yeah, I was like the third person to put in for a bracket,
Yeah.
and then I'm filling out brackets, and I'm like, man, I feel like I'm missing one. Yeah, I was missing the final
I
third.
think it was Alan Humphrey was in here yesterday. He's like, so who the hell's got 0 points? How do you get 0
Scott.
points?
Because you don't fill out a bracket.
Scott.
That's how you get 0.
That's great.
Yeah, so we're gonna light this bad boy up. This is such a great cigar. So this one that they're putting this one as kind of somewhere between the red and the blue. I think it leans way more towards the red, just in different spices. So I'm anxious to see what you guys think.
Okay.
If you guys want to see, obviously you'll hear our thoughts on this cigar. If you want to see kind of my breakdown that I did, I actually posted it on Instagram and Facebook, kind of a little breakdown review of this on a fresh palate. So, you can check that out too.
Shannon, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Don't think I've seen Shannon out there before.
Tell us where you're from, Shannon.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes.
So this cigar, I got to say, just very first puff, I love the retro on it. It's great. There is definitely the fruit notes that stick with it, not just in the cold draw. Because
Yeah.
lots of times I find that those are not really present.
Right.
When you have it on the cold draw, you're not going to get it when you light it. This one actually maintains a little bit of that kind of dark fruit
I agree.
element to it.
I agree, yeah. I like the fact that, like the red, when you retrohale it initially, and the black too, the spice hits immediately. This one's like a subtle little wait, and then all of a sudden it hits you.
It is.
And it's got, where the black is more black pepper and the red has got more of that cayenne kind of, and black pepper and a little bit of white pepper. This one I think is leaning a little bit less of the red pepper, but still in that world a little bit.
it's really, really nice. And of course, McAuliffe, right? I mean, in line with what they've done with the black and the red and the blue,
And
the
same-
construction is like
It's
perfect.
Yes.
The burn is perfect.
And
like,
it's the same price point.
yeah, sub $10.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is nuts.
And we're smoking the Toro today. And thank you to Jeremy for getting us some samples to try on the show.
Huge
Ooh,
shout out to
Shannon
Jeremy.
coming in live from Chattanooga.
Chattanooga.
Yeah, home of some of our favorite bourbon
yeah.
down there, the Chattanooga
Yeah,
Whiskey
we have
Company.
We have a cheerleader that comes in here too from Chattanooga.
That guy sucks.
You said cheerleader, and I'm like,
Yeah,
are
I
you
threw
talking
you off.
about Doc? Are you talking? What is there somebody I don't know? Like,
Nope,
what's
just
the
Doc.
story? Just Doc.
Doc's a
Gotcha.
Chattanooga's cheerleader.
Ducks,
Yeah.
ducks
It's a little
sucks.
awkward when he wears a scally cap and a skirt in here. It's really awkward.
That does throw the vibe off a little bit.
But I mean, you do you, Scott. It's fine.
Whatever you want to do, Doc.
Well, let's
Yeah.
get
Let's
let's
get
get
some
into the
whiskey.
ILG West Fork pick
do
while
that.
we're waiting on Greg Keeley to join us.
You want to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Will, tell us about your magnificent bottle you brought in.
Not a whole lot to tell about it. I mean, it's a lower proof. I think it's one of their first. I think it was their first collab. So it comes in, I think, at 90 proof. If I remember right, it was 73, 17, 10. So it's a little high on the rye. Kind of hits me like a weeder,
Okay.
but
Well,
it's good and balanced.
I do feel like the West Fork stuff when they prove it down to this range, it does get a little bit lighter on the palate, a lot lighter on the palate.
Sure.
So I'm anxious to try this to see how it bounces out.
How
But-
will it balance?
Good question.
But growing up in Anderson, and I see Anderson Speedway on the label, you're
Yeah.
almost forced to.
Yeah, we got to get out there.
get a shot
We went
at
out
it.
last year.
We are
and-
going to.
Yep. Love some Anderson Speedway. It is getting into racing season. IndyCar started. They have their event out at Thermal today, actually, out in California. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, see if we can get out there at the end of the season with the school bus figure eights. and-
Hell yeah. Those are the best, man.
The boats, they're dragging
Yes.
boats around the track.
I
Doing
think
the
we should
trailers.
participate in that.
Okay, so
No, I wanted to buy a bus for us to ride around in, not crash.
That'd be cool.
What if we just do it
Or we can buy two.
during it?
Oh, they gave us a little kangaroo.
you know the
Yeah, it's a little Larrikin
I like
mascot.
that.
the nose on this is actually pretty nice.
It isn't bad at all. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah. I
Mike's coming off of a hot pot night.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. We had some insanely spicy hot pot last night, and it's messing with Mike.
My sinuses are fine.
You know, it's not bad. It's pretty good.
I agree.
What'd you say the corn or the mash was?
I-
Is it on there?
It's on the right side on the far. I think it's 73, 17, 10.
This has got way more flavor than I was expecting being proof down that much.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wonder what. That almost reminds me of that amber red.
You know, the crazy thing is,
The nose.
I could see this going pretty well out at the track. Like this
Yeah.
would be real approachable for a lot of people
Honestly,
out
they
there.
don't want to have 120 proofer at the
Right,
track.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I actually like this.
It's kind of surprised me a little bit,
What's this 4-year?
Yeah, minimum 4 year.
and I think it goes well with this cigar.
I think the pepper really ramps up a lot of the notes that are coming out of the cigar.
It could be
Or out of the bourbon.
out of the bourbon. You mean? Yeah.
But I do almost get more, almost a leather quality
Out of the cigar.
of a richness. Not
Yeah.
not so much like a leather flavor like you're sucking in your
I know what you mean. Yeah.
that.
Yeah, kind of that leather oil smell that
Mm-hmm.
permeates the air when you. Yeah. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So yeah, I do. I think this cigar is pretty much going to go with anything bourbon well. But
It's strong enough to stand up to pretty
Yeah.
much anything. Yeah.
Dan Hand in the house.
What's up? All right. Well, this gives me hope that there could be a little collaboration going on here.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
flavors are good.
They're
They're
good.
there.
yeah,
It's actually really nice for having a first pour of the day.
yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, it works pretty well. We'll be able to work our way up with the Larrikin, and
It's got enough heat to where you're not mad about it. It's not going to be like an 80 proof. It's not even going to be like a Buffalo Trace. It's just like, mild all the way through.
Exactly.
It has some heat to it that actually balances out the flavors nicely.
It has a decently long finish. It's not overpowering. It's not like lingering, but you can
it
still
holds.
taste it in the back of your throat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
holds. Yep.
So yeah, good
Yeah,
job,
and this
guys.
cigar, man, can't say enough about it. Perfect burn. Wouldn't expect anything else out of McAuliffe. Nice smoke content. It's really good.
Send him a message, see if he can, see if he's awake.
So while we're waiting to see if our friends from Larrikin join us, wanted to bring up something early in the program. This was a bit of a sad week. We had a great show last week. For those that did not tune into that, make sure and go back and watch that because it was awesome. We were out at Harris Hoosier Park.
Yep.
We got to talk to a driver. We got to talk to a horse buyer and seller. We got to talk to Gabe, the GM out there, and
Great
of course our
addition.
friend Gene.
Yep.
So lots of exciting stuff. But then I think it was maybe 2 days after we were out there in Pennsylvania. I think you have the story here.
Yeah, it was Meadows Racetrack in Pennsylvania.
And unfortunately, we learned just how dangerous standard-bred driving is. They had a driver out there that passed away on the track.
Hunter Myers.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
R.I.P.
In a
Hunter
wreck?
Myers.
In a
Yep.
wreck? Or what
And,
was it?
Yeah, fell off the back.
Wow.
Yep, fell off the back of the cart.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those guys are out there, and they're running an awful lot of races and putting an awful lot of miles up, but it is dangerous.
Wow. I
So,
had not heard that
yep,
yet.
thoughts and prayers
That's
out
sad.
to Hunter's family and the
Absolutely.
entire standard-bred community out there.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that's like when you have one of your peers, in that situation, but
Well, and I think it's easy for them to forget that can still happen because those guys are out there every week, and I've never seen it happen at Anderson. I'm sure it
Right.
has, or maybe not.
I don't know
at
if
least
they've had anybody
accidents.
pass away,
Right.
but I'm sure. Yeah, I think
There's
they've
had to be.
had some various accidents out
But
there.
I think that these guys get out there and they're in their element. They probably don't think much about that, but this
Sure.
kind of puts it in their mind.
Well, yeah,
and
they're
makes
running 10 races in a night.
You just makes
Yep.
you wonder if it's going to affect any of them coming up this weekend too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so sad news.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rising star. He's 27 years old. He's a young dude. So it's kind of a bummer.
It's a shame.
But
Yep. But yeah, so sorry about that. I just thought we'd get it out.
No,
get it,
I'm glad
get
you
it.
did. I hadn't heard that. That's
Yep.
sad.
Yep. Wanted to extend condolences because that's
Yeah.
really appreciate all the sponsorship and support we get from Harris Hoosier
Absolutely.
Park and
The
Indiana
entire-
Standard Bred Association.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
anyways,
yeah,
Yes.
in lighter news,
Yeah. Way to bring it down the mood.
I know.
it's always like doing a moment of silence right before like the lineups in NBA.
Now starting.
So sorry you died, but
Yeah.
let's fuck up the other team. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's always a challenge.
So-
always a challenge.
Anyways, I feel like we should do the national anthem now.
Yeah. No doubt.
Finish your moment of silence. Who's ready to party?
Hey, I heard Dave Pigman did the anthem at the Fuel game last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dave's
Good job.
the,
How cool is that?
announcer.
Yep.
He's also in a barbershop quartet, like a competing.
Oh, really?
Like I didn't know that they had competitions, but they do because he missed a couple games.
He's competing with someone.
Yeah, competing against somebody with barbershop quartet. so-
Probably 3 or 4 other guys too.
Yeah. Since they call them barbershop quartets, that would make sense.
Wow,
Yeah.
Rob. Wow.
That's one.
This is the insightful stuff you get on the Final Third
Exactly,
podcast.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I looked it up. Apparently, it's a team sport.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah, this isn't horrible.
No,
It's pretty grainy.
I mean exactly. It is. I mean,
But it's a 4-year bourbon, right?
Yeah.
So
but I think we all went into this thinking, okay, we're probably not going to be super excited about it. I think we're all
admittedly,
surprised.
Will did talk it down quite a bit.
He did.
Well, when I first tried it, it was a sample that they had on the shelf, and I don't know that it had a cap on it because I don't remember seeing a cap on it when she
Oh,
grabbed it
so
off
it
the
might
shelf.
have been a little
It
oxidized.
might have been a little aired out.
Yep.
Might have had a couple gnats in your drink or something. That'd
Yeah.
be great.
Been there.
It does have a nice caramel to it. Like
It does.
If I
And the
burned
fruit
it on
holds
Christmas
true.
Day,
it's pleasant.
burnt
Hey,
caramel in the pan.
Just
I
because
put
you're
leather
having a
there.
day,
Shut up.
you don't have to bring the rest of us down.
I'm having a great day.
What a great day.
We got 2 cars in our garage,
Nice.
so
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's great.
moving up in the world. All we did was just move shit from one garage to the other, so now I gotta fix the other garage. I can't park in the other one, so I don't really care.
It's part of it.
What else was on our list? We have a new read for Harris. We'll get to that one later.
Yeah.
We didn't have too much other news this week. There was.
It was not a busy week. The biggest
no, I
stuff
mean
was sports
basketball.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was basketball.
So something I was thinking about us doing is let's bring in just like a random question of the week that we talk about, and it can be anything. And I'm gonna throw it out there. It's a super easy one today. What are 3 bands that you've grown up with, or even now, that everyone seems to love but you do not like?
Oh,
And I'll give
that
you my
everybody
I'll give you
loves?
my 3 because it's blasphemy. I don't like the Beatles. I don't like Aerosmith, and I don't like the Rolling Stones.
Who are you?
And it's
that
like 3
subscriber
bands that
number going
everybody
down?
loves.
I could actually agree with 2 out of the 3 of those. So,
Yeah.
look, the Beatles,
I get
fine
the-
music, okay?
I get they're iconic. I get that.
And that's my problem is that everybody wants to, get on their knees and
Right.
open their mouth for the Beatles, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we don't need a rotating, series of BJs going on for all the Beatles.
I'm pretty sure I could have wrote Yellow Submarine. I'm just telling you right now.
Aerosmith,
drugs are
again, that's just not really my jam.
My jam.
Now I'm going to throw one out there that will
U2.
definitely piss everybody off. Pink Floyd,
See, I love Pink Floyd.
and
so,
I
okay.
get, but I'm a Led Zeppelin guy,
Okay.
right? And I
I'm
feel
less
like you
Led
kind of
Zeppelin.
fall, like either
One
you're
or the
like,
other.
yeah,
I got you. I
Yeah.
get it.
All right, what was the question? What was the criteria for
3
this?
bands that are very popular but you don't like.
That's not true. I like Metallica.
I like Metallica. You don't like
What
Metallica,
are 3
Jim?
bands?
Oh, I love
man.
But there are
Oh, it's
there are
overrated
albums
because
that are
you
iconic,
understand
but
what
not
they're
all of
saying
them
in their
are. You're
songs.
right. True.
Yeah.
Overrated. Fuck me. I don't know. 3 bands that are popular that I don't like.
Taylor Swift.
I'd have to know the names of 3 bands to do that.
You know that is true. We should have said that one first. That's true.
I mean, she has a band.
You could have been like, name
Yeah.
3 bands, and Mike's going to go, I don't know.
It's not
Purple,
Wax
red,
Fang.
and
That's my
black.
favorite. Because I know that one.
Is that who you sang karaoke
That
to?
was, yes.
Yes.
Wax Fang.
Just pick 3 like random metal bands that
I'm
Scott
going to throw it out
likes.
there. U2. Me and everybody at Apple.
Gnome.
I don't like U2. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I already forget. I can't even remember the ones that he tries to listen to
See,
because
if you
they're
don't
all
like U2, you
demon
probably don't
names.
like Coldplay. I feel like those 2 are kind of similar.
Oh, I got Maroon 5.
Okay.
Top of the list.
man.
Maroon 5.
See, I'm
let's
showing
see.
my age. I'm talking 70s and 80s here.
I'm
Yeah,
just
but
not
see,
good
I-
at names at
I
all.
like Maroon 5, but it is a little annoying. Like, all the females
Creed.
love, what's his name?
You shut
The-
your whore mouth.
Oh, man.
We got a real Creed fan over here.
No, I just couldn't wait to say that. I was waiting for somebody to say Nickelback so I could say that, but you said Creed. There you go, throw it in there.
That's another
Nickelback,
one.
there's your 3.
There's your 3.
I don't know why Nickelback gets so much hate. Everybody, when Nickelback was big, everybody was going ballistic for
Have you
Nickelback.
looked at that photograph?
Yeah.
Every time I do it, makes me laugh.
That's why nobody likes it.
That's true.
It's a horrible picture.
You can't tell me that you don't like I Want to Be a Rock Star music video.
Dude, that song is actually, it gets in my head and sticks in my head,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's still a good song.
So
Yeah,
random question of the week is, what are 3 bands that are popular that you don't like from any era?
Any era. Yeah.
Any era.
Shoot us some commentary on the YouTube.
What'd you have, Will? Did you have any?
Mine was mainly U2.
Okay. I can
But
see
he
that
just
too.
went just one.
Just because they automatically uploaded it
'Cause
to
he's
your
a rule
iPhone
breaker.
7
Oh
years
my
ago.
God, that
No,
did
it
drive
just
me
got worse
crazy.
from there.
That was the start of the hatred.
It was for me too.
And then I don't know. There's songs I hate, but as a group, there's something they do good and something they do horrible. So I kind of just leave
Yeah.
them alone.
System of a Down is hit or miss for me because it auto starts when I start my car,
Oh.
and it's the same fucking 10 seconds over and over, and I'm like, I can't.
I got a buddy that
can't
hates
listen
the
to this.
Gorillas.
I don't
As
mind
soon
the
as it
Gorillas.
comes on, he just gets
I like the Gorillas.
belligerent.
I don't mind them.
Now, I did find it pretty hilarious
That it's all one
that
guy.
I got last night. I got a text message, except it wasn't a text message. It was an audio message from Lisa.
Oh, are you going to do this?
Yeah, and it was
Okay.
Sweet Caroline. And Janelle was right next to me, and I start listening. I'm like, oh, this is hilarious.
Were you guys watching the game?
No,
at
we
home?
were watching basketball.
Okay, so I thought while you guys were watching, I thought you guys were watching the game and singing it in the background.
No, it was pretty funny though. Yeah,
That was good.
Yep, I like because Janelle hates Sweet Caroline.
I know.
It's the
I'm not a
most
fan
despised.
either. I'm not a fan either.
You know what?
I get the fun in
If
it.
people like having fun with it, then
all that matters,
Yeah,
yeah.
all in. Yep.
That was,
absolutely.
and speaking of the fuel a little bit before they call in, The Fuel had a hell of a game last night. They played well. They fought well. They were aggressive.
They
definitely
sucked less.
fought well.
Goudreau looked really great, except for the second period. But it wasn't just him. It was the defense, everything. And honestly, the Bison were really trying hard to get back in the game, and they did. They got down to 3-2, but winning 5-2. We got to set up a booth out there, so that was kind of fun to see a lot of people that we know there that stop by and see us, but also a lot of people that have not been out yet. They're going to stop by and see us. So pretty cool night, really good night.
Yeah, it looked like a good time.
You
Yeah,
got
it
to
should
meet
have
all
been
the.
5-1, but
It should have been. Yeah,
the
that
referee
that was a
got
crap call.
smacked with the puck.
Yep.
And instead of calling it a dead puck because it literally got stuck in his shirt a little bit, and then he kind of batted it out, and then what should have been then deemed offsides because they had an offensive player across the blue line before the puck got there because it hit the ref. They didn't call it offsides, and he had a basically
Breakaway.
8-foot shot
One-on-one.
breakaway
That
right
sucks.
for the goalie that wasn't prepared for it because he thought it was going to go down as a
Was
dead
this a
puck.
new female ref?
No.
Good.
See, that happened. That happened to the Avalanche this last week too. They had it hit the referee, and it was going down for icing, and it stopped it. And the only guy that was going forward was the defense, and went down there and got a breakaway, and ended up getting a goal to beat us. Like, God dang
But
it!
last Sunday's overtime goal was crazy though.
Which
The
one?
Avalanche one.
Avalanche.
Oh yeah,
that was
that was
insane.
good.
that was awesome. McCarr.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was an awesome shot.
They're playing well right now. They're playing very well right now. So they're making a run. They're making a hard run right now.
Yeah, about the middle of the second period, everybody was booing the refs because they weren't calling anything that was happening. They had guys throwing each other down on the ice and nothing getting called.
Yeah.
And then, who was it? King or somebody got a 4-minute penalty. I think it was King, but he you could almost read his lips saying, "If you're not going to handle it, I will," to the
Oh, God.
referee. And then, like 20 seconds later, he body slammed
If
somebody.
you won't, I will.
Cameron took it serious too. That
Yeah,
boy
Cameron
was
went out
he
with
was
him.
mad. He was out there just throwing. I mean,
Actually, I think it was Cameron.
It was Cameron because
Yeah.
he threw that guy down to the ice. So good
So-
game for the Fuel.
What do you think of the purple, Rob? I know you had one the other day, but
I
give us
love it.
your-
I love this cigar. I mean, I still think personally in the lineup, I think the red might still be my favorite, but this is just right behind it. If I want something slightly less spicy,
Seems way more mild.
It does seem more
I think
mild
the
to me.
bourbon's knocking
Yeah.
it down because by itself it was actually spicier than this. I think the bourbon's knocking it down right now.
Stupid ILG pig. Ruining my cigar.
The retro's still
You were
good though.
repeatedly
The retro's still
warned.
good. But I do like it. I think it's really good. It definitely is a nice step up from the blue. Because the blue, I feel like it's more of it's a medium, but it really leans more in that mild world on the flavors, at least, and the spice.
Yeah.
And
I see that. It's
people don't
definitely
like
not
it.
spicy.
Right.
Like-
But I think, our crowd here likes a lot of the spicier stuff. That's kind of what we like, so it kind of works out. So that's why they go to the black and the red more. But this one here, I think, is going to be just as big of a seller as the red and the black,
I
probably.
think you're going to have a lot of people that don't normally go to the McAuliffes trying this and then ending up on the purple
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they might have tried the blue and the red was too much. The blue
Sure.
was kind of different.
Yep,
I
yep.
think this is going to fill the gap in that little niche of people.
I agree.
I would absolutely agree.
Now, the one thing
it's
in
good.
this
It's a good
one
problem.
does different than the black. The black, I feel like, and this is not a knock on the black. I feel like the black has got a little less transitional complexity. I think it's pretty much that same note all the way through, which is a good thing. It's a great note.
The
like
intensity
But
all
this
through.
one here changes from third to third for me.
Okay.
So I'm anxious to see what you
I'm
guys
still in
think
my
on the
first third,
thirds.
so
Yeah,
going slow today.
I'm probably just now getting into it, so
Yeah,
we'll
I'm-
see how
I'm-
it transitions.
Yeah.
I do agree the bourbon's stepping over it a little bit right now.
Which
Heavy
I wouldn't
grain,
expect
high
on a
corn.
90 proofer.
No, I wouldn't have thought that at all.
But
I think it's that finish.
might
Is
be.
it
Long
just the
finish
long
on
finish
I think
on
it's
it?
just
It's
sticking
interesting.
with the
The more
cigar.
I sip on it, the more I actually think I like it. I mean, it's not bad at all. And you said, what is it, a $35 bottle?
$35.99. Yep.
It's like, that's not a bad price for
You
that
can't
bottle
beat that
at
on a
all.
lot of the things.
No.
You could
And I'm
easily
sure
throw
that's
that in
an-
a decanter and just use that as your Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And that's available pretty much at all the liquor stores around Anderson, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
It does have some white dog elements to it, but
Yeah.
the pleasant parts,
Yeah.
the parts that I like.
The flavor-
Not-
the
yeah, it's
flavor,
not
not the-
sour. It's
Yeah.
just, a bit of that sweet mash. I don't know. I don't know which mash they're doing, but whichever. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of that kind of sweeter element after it's aged some.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it. I like it.
Sipping whiskey. So we were eating.
That's one of the other bands I didn't.
Shit.
Yeah, I should have said
Mike and the
genres.
Heartbreakers over there.
Could
Mike
have
and
been
the
literally country
Heartbreakers.
music for me, genres. Ugh.
Love it. Yeah, we were eating biscuits and gravy yesterday morning. Totally forgot about the mimosas, but
Oh,
we had biscuits and gravy. It was a good time. We watched Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. So
that's great.
If
It
you
was-
haven't seen
it
that,
was great.
Yeah, so I watched this
That's
documentary.
that's that documentary. Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
documentary
Yeah.
from Johnny Knoxville about the White family in West Virginia. And yeah, sorry, Jen, about the mimosas. It was my bad. I even got the orange juice, but I didn't. I forgot the champagne, and I was like, well, we could have screwdrivers, and then still didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I was a little hungover. Look, I got surgery on Wednesday, so I was on hydrocodone all
You had
day.
to go a whole 24 hours without alcohol.
It was brutal. I think it ended up being like 32 hours.
Oh, man.
I know. It was
Dang.
ridiculous. But then finally, Thursday morning, I got up and I started drinking and watching basketball because that's what I do. Like
Yep.
when it's NCAA, this is the only basketball I watch pretty much all year.
Same.
Is just this 4 days because it's awesome. Like it's just nonstop. I mean, look, right now, UConn's beating Florida 35-31. That's great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been just drinking and watching basketball since, Thursday morning and doing the biscuits and gravy. And once a year, I have to ensure that I'm making correct life decisions. And I figure if you're trying to validate whether or not you're really screwing up, just pick the lowest possible point. Like, compare yourself there, and then everything looks really good. And so you're watching the White family on this Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. They're shaking a pill bottle, going, that's the Boone County mating call.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
They're snorting lines off the back of a toilet in a bar.
Oh, Jesus.
And you're like, well, my life is pretty good. I'm making good decisions.
Exactly.
I've got a home, and my kids are doing well. I don't feel bad at all. Yeah, at one point they're telling the story about how one of the guys, Brandon, is in jail and he's waiting on sentencing. And his cousin or whatever is there. He says, he was yelling on that phone at his uncle. He hung up, he grabbed his gun, and went up there and blew his face off. You tell me who got the better end of that deal.
Still don't know.
Like, I don't know. He's going to jail for 50 years, and the other guy got his face blown off but is still alive.
Oh.
I don't really know who got the better end of that deal.
It's very confusing.
There are no wins in that situation.
No, but
No.
it makes you feel good about yourself.
It does. It
You
does.
can go, okay, I'm doing all right.
Could be a lot worse. That's
And
for
then
sure.
we do it every year. March Madness, biscuits and gravy on Saturday morning, and
So
Wild and Wonderful Whites West Virginia.
I will say this first couple days was a little more lackluster than they've been in the past. There was a couple of really good games, but then like North Carolina, they came back after being down like 22 points and had a shot, but they ran out of gas. I thought that could have been a good ending, but it didn't end
Well,
up
if they
being
would have
that.
hit
Yeah.
more than half their free throws, they would have
Oh
won the game.
God, yeah. That's across the board in the NCAA right now, man. It's terrible.
The lack of free throw shooting has been abysmal.
It could have been game changing
Mm-hmm.
for half these teams.
Well, normally you expect the higher seed teams that are they're conference champions for the American Conference or the WCC or these conferences you never hear about except when it's tournament time.
Right.
You expect those guys to be the ones that hit their free throws, and even they were missing free throws. Like you're not going to be a pro basketball player. Free throws is something you should be doing automatically.
Should be.
And they're not. It's
Yeah.
been absolutely crazy.
There were several games that both teams were shooting 50% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
It's like that should never happen. I mean, 80% should be your minimum. In
Yeah.
all honesty, it should be your minimum.
I'll give you 75.
75 is fine, but I
Yeah.
mean, if you can't hit 8 out of 10 free throws in practice over and over and over, shooting 100 minimum per practice,
Yeah,
something's wrong.
I agree.
Absolutely. Well, we have Greg Keeley joining us now. Greg, can you hear us? I think you're muted there, boss.
I could hear you, but I couldn't talk.
There we
I
go.
muted.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm back on now.
I got
Oh,
you, brother.
wonderful. Thanks
Welcome
for
to the
joining.
show.
Hey guys.
What's up, Greg?
Whoa, don't want
Yeah,
that.
sorry
Stand
I'm
by.
late. I was up doing farm work and I didn't realize it was 1 o'clock. So sorry I'm late.
All good, man. All
That's
good.
what happens on the farm. It's a 24-hour a day job.
All
And
good.
it's not raining right now, so that's another reason.
It is here.
Yeah.
At least it was.
Yeah, Greg, where are you located?
We're right our farm is right by Four Roses Distillery in Lawrenceburg,
Okay.
and our distillery is 10 minutes from Larrikin is 10 minutes from here, right next to Wild Turkey. So I live next to Four Roses and I work next to Wild Turkey, so it's a pretty good setup.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
So I think you're in a good spot.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well-
my wife, when we bought the farm, was like, are we buying this farm because it's near Four Roses? I was like, no, of course not.
No.
Love
So,
it.
with your own farm,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your distillery. It sounds like you're doing some grain to glass stuff. Tell us what's going on, and we'll start pouring over here.
Yeah, sure. So, for those folks that are watching or listening that aren't aware, Larrikin has been on, as a brand at least, on the market since Bourbon Festival last year, which is in September. So September last year. Now, before that, we were known as Lawrenceburg Bourbon Company, and we made the change to Larrikin because really Lawrenceburg, while it's a great place to have a distillery, the name itself didn't really mean anything to us from a family perspective or from a whiskey perspective. So we changed the name to Larrikin, a year ago thereabouts, and it's been a great move for us. I can't tell if I'm still on here
You're
or
here.
not.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
are.
You got
You
us.
guys have all vanished. Oh, cool. So we're Larrikin Bourbon Company now. We're located right next door to Wild Turkey on the Sales Road in Lawrenceburg. And we're in a great spot, as you guys mentioned. We've got Four Roses just 10 minutes away from us. Woodford's probably, if you're driving into the sale, 15 to 20. And, you can get to Frankfurt and hit up, Buffalo Trace and Jay Mattingly and a couple of others in Frankfurt. And that's about a 20-minute drive as well. So we're in a great spot. Our facility is, still a work in progress, but, we've got a terrific tasting room there now and a gift shop, and we're just starting. We dismantled our stills over Christmas and brought them to our new location, and we're just waiting on some government approval, like we always are, to get them put back together and up and running on site. We have one small still, a test still effectively, that we're running on site at the moment, and we'll have our other two stills up and running hopefully mid-April sometime. So we're pretty excited about that. And Larrikin's, since the Bourbon Festival, we're really excited with how it's gone, and we really couldn't be happier with the support and everything that we're getting from the bourbon community and the community writ large, to be quite honest. It's been a crazy ride, but we're enjoying it all.
Fantastic. So, most of the bourbon that you've had right now is this since you said you're in the middle of getting set up, is this sourced and you're getting ready to distill, or you distilled previously to different locations?
No, we're sort of a bit of a hybrid model in that we distill ourselves. Obviously, we're on the Bourbon Trail now. You have to be a producing distiller to be obviously a member of the Bourbon Trail. But as I say, we run a bit of a hybrid model in that, particularly when we were setting up, we did some contract distilling, and that was I'm not actually not allowed to say what we did.
Fair. Yep.
So we did some contract distilling, and that was, I've been distilling off and on now for about 10 years. Originally, so a bit of a hybrid model. So we're endeavouring to make everything we can ourselves, but we do have some legacy product that is left over from contract distilling, and our decade cognac finished rye is a sourced product from Alberta, Canada. The 10-year-old rye is obviously sourced. We didn't we didn't make that, and I certainly didn't go to Canada. So that's a source product. But by and large, when you look at our single barrels and other things, they're our products.
Well, I just took the first sip of this. I don't even know exactly what it is that we're drinking, but wow.
Yeah.
So
It kind of hit my palate, and I was like, damn, this is really good.
yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell. This is that rye you were talking about, cognac rye, right? Is that what you sent us?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, is it the green label with the orange? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's it. Okay. So yeah, I'm with you. It came that the rye comes through, but it almost comes through more as like that corn husk kind of thing we like. I'm getting like the
It's-
husky thing going, but I get the rye behind it. It's really got some good sweetness to it.
Yeah, but it doesn't come across as sugary or cloying
No,
sweet at
no,
all.
not at
It's
all.
like a nice, solid backing to it. I mean, it's got a really good foundation, which I just always like.
What's the proof point on this one?
It should be about 122.5, 122.4, I believe. That's what we were
Okay.
122.4.
shooting for.
I don't think it's
so
that- it
we were
doesn't come
shooting at
across
the
that hot.
122. Look, one thing, guys, with Larrikin whiskies is we will never put anything into a bottle that is going to burn on the way down. I like to have a bit of spice and a bit of heat in the mouth, and so you can tell it's whiskey. But we will never ever bottle a product that is going to burn you or give you heartburn as you swallow it. It's just not our thing. I don't like it, and I don't think you need to do it.
Yeah, I noticed there's almost
Very
no
clean finish.
Kentucky,
Hug.
blanket or hug, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really go down like that at all. And at 122,
It plays nice on the palate. For sure.
it's really nice. Yeah, I like the mouthfeel. It's got a
There's a
good
great
water.
story. There's a great story behind the Larrikin decade. If you'd like me to relay it, it's so when we very first started a few years ago as Lawrenceburg, we had 4 single barrels that we pulled out 4 barrels that we selected. They were pretty cool single barrels, cast strength single barrels, about 121 proof, I guess they were 120. And I figured that was going to last us, 3 or 4 months kind of deal, because we had no presence, we had no nothing. We opened a small shop front in a sort of an abandoned dress shop on Main Street in Lawrenceburg, and we didn't know what to expect, but we bottled it, or we had friends of ours bottle it for us up in Paris, Kentucky, and we put labels on it. The labels weren't very good, as it turned out. They could sort of come off pretty easy, but we didn't know what we were doing at the time. And amazingly, we sold out of those 4 barrels, 3 or 4 barrels in less than 24 hours.
Nice.
It was snowing. We had a little event on the launch when we launched our bourbon, and it was snowing and cold, and we had Rotary Club and all that sort of stuff there. We sold through half the barrels in 2 hours that night, and then the next morning I got in at 9 to clean up the little shop, and there was a line of people, even though it was snowing, going down to the coffee shop on Main Street. And we sold the rest of the barrels out between 10 and probably 11:30 that morning. So the reason I'm telling you that is we ran out of whiskey. And I thought I had, 3 or 4 months worth of product sitting there, and it was gone in a day. So a friend of mine, very good friend of mine, actually, industry friend of mine, called up and he's like, "Hey, I hear you had a great day yesterday and you ran out of whiskey." I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I've got some that you might want to buy." I was like, "I don't know." Anyhow, and then he told me it was 10-year-old Canadian whiskey from Alberta. And I was like, "Oh, dude, I don't know, no." So he then comes over 2 days later, brings the samples with him, of course, after I've told him no twice. Mm-hmm. And I drink it, and I'm like, "Oh, this is so good. I'm going to have to buy it." And so we did. And I still haven't spoken to him, I think, since that day, because he tricked me into it. But that's how we ended up with it. But this whiskey was actually made for a large, because a lot of the big US companies use Alberta rye as their rye. So this was made for a large Kentucky distiller that was exporting it, and they were exporting it to Russia. So this rye was on a steamer. It sounds like I'm in World War One. This rye was on a ship going over to Russia when the war started, or when Russia invaded Ukraine, and the ship turned around. This container sat in Port of Cincinnati for a few months, and they were trying to get rid of it because they didn't have a product, like they didn't have 100% rye product in their portfolio, and that's why we were able to buy it. And once my wife found out that it was going to keep the whiskey out of Russia, she was like, "Just buy it. I don't care how much it is." So, once we decided we didn't want the Russians getting good American whiskey, it was a done deal, pretty much.
That's a great story.
That
I
is a
love
great
that.
story.
Yeah, man.
So with this cigar, this is actually really a nice retrohale with this cigar.
It is.
I'm surprised after what we were drinking before did not necessarily pair real well.
This is pairing perfectly.
really, really solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're smoking the McAuliffe Purple that's not available yet. It'll be available in another couple of weeks.
Ooh.
So, yeah,
You
it's...
should have sent me one. I would have had one with you.
Oh, yeah, we should have.
My bad. I didn't think about it.
Sorry about that.
Come on, Mike.
I know. Next time.
We say that all the time, don't we?
We'll have to make a trip down there and see, and we'll bring some cigars to smoke with you.
You guys are you guys doing a humidor at your distillery?
Yeah, so we have the only, Larrikin has the only walk-in humidor on the Bourbon Trail. So it's a good-sized humidor. It's about the size of a regular person's sort of bathroom or large walk-in closet.
Yeah.
And our cigar sommelier is the only internationally accredited cigar sommelier in the state of Kentucky.
Okay.
That's
and
awesome.
so we have a fantastic assortment of cigars, everything from, stuff that people buy for a bachelor party kind of, the
Sure.
$7 or $8 cigars, through to just some wonderful, obviously we have some brand, Cahibas and Macanudos and that sort of stuff, but we also have some cigars that Chris Disponet's the guy's name, that Chris has been able to source from other places, like directly out of from some cigar folks in Miami and that sort of thing. And they're not mainstream available, but I tell you what, they are fan-freaking-tastic.
Heck yeah.
And he knows his stuff. We have a line of Larrikin cigars as well, which are made for us out of a Cuban seed with Honduran leaf and a Cuban seed, and they're rolled by a gentleman in Miami who I think's only in his 60s, but he genuinely looks like he's 100.
Cuba will do that to you.
Dude, he's got the greatest thing ever. He's got this nice, cute little house in a Cuban neighborhood in Miami, and his wife is awesome. And he literally sits in his almost, I can't call it a shed because it's not a shed, but he sits in this detached building from the house, and he literally just rolls cigars all day, smokes cigars, and drinks rum.
That sounds like a rough life.
Sounds like a
yes.
retirement plan.
Other than rolling, that's my life, yes.
Yeah, his wife brings him out amazing. I hadn't had Cuban food before, but the food is extraordinarily good. And we sit there, and Chris and I will go down and meet with him about every 3 or 4 months. We'll have a couple of few cigars. In case my wife watches them, we'll have one cigar, and we'll drink some. I don't know where they get the rum from, but it's amazing. And it's just, and you just chat to him, and he just chatted away, and it's fantastic. And what he does, he actually steams the outer leaf with Larrikin bourbon, like he just infuses a little bit, but it doesn't taste like a bourbon flavored cigar at all. You wouldn't know if I didn't tell you. But we know, and it's kind of cool, and the cigars he makes for us are just fantastic.
We'll have to get some of those and try them on the show.
Yeah, I can send you some up for the show if you like.
Okay,
That would be great.
That would be amazing. Yeah, and I know we're going to try to come out there in the summertime once we have a little more time to spend a couple of days in the Louisville area and come see you guys in person and maybe tour the facility.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. Well, by summer, the 3 stills will all be up and operating.
Even
So
better.
you'll be able to see them on site rather than having to travel an hour to go and see our production. We're in the middle of a pretty big, for us. So we've got wild turkeys literally right next door.
Yeah, sure.
And when I say we're going through a big expansion, we're building like a warehouse and expanding our still house. They've built literally an entire new distillery, like wild turkey sized distillery. And, we've had to put in a retaining wall, and it's got 8 concrete blocks. Their retaining wall that they've built on the side of the Sales Road must be it's got to be 70 foot high and, 1,000 foot long.
Yeah.
And ours is, ours is like 6 foot high and 4 foot long.
Well, let's just hope they didn't
It's
use
all
the same
relative, I guess.
contractors as Jack Daniels.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
yeah.
yeah.
Jack Daniels losing their rick house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully yours is built better than that.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah.
Gosh.
All right.
Now
So,
you've jinxed me. Now I'm going to have to go and check it.
You should frequently.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll be poking things and doing all the stuff.
Yeah, so you had mentioned you were out on the farm this morning. So is that something you guys do as well? You're farming your own products, your own grains, and all that stuff for your distillery, or what?
We've dabbled in it. Last year we tried to grow some rye, which everyone told us wouldn't grow, and guess what? It didn't. So that was a bit of a disaster. This year we're going to just put in some white dent, I think, corn, and get some of our own corn going. And the barley, as much as I want to do it, I just don't think we can. But hopefully this year for our new fills, we'll be able to use some of our own corn in the single barrels. Well, they're all single barrels until they're not. But hopefully stuff we put down as of 2025 will at least have some part of our own grains and things like that in them, yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah. Most places.
Again, I'm the worst farmer in America, so I might plant it. That doesn't mean it's going to get in the bottle.
Well, you didn't start out in farming. You started out in
No.
a military guy. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I
Yeah,
was
22
looking
years,
through
yeah.
a lot of your history here, Lieutenant Commander.
Yeah, thank you for your
Retired
service.
U.S. Navy. You were also in the Australian
Well,
Navy.
I retired as Lieutenant Commander twice.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay.
That's nice.
Also
yeah.
a national security professional. Also worked for the Australian Federal Police. You got quite the history. And it does say that on your guys' website, veteran owned and veteran distilled. So
I like it.
Yeah, I thought actually that we were the only veteran-owned, veteran-distilled operation in the country. I know we are the only one in Kentucky, certainly. But then I found out just when I was at the Jim Beam conference at the University of Kentucky last week, and apparently there's another one on the West Coast somewhere. So, but if we just ignore California, it'll be like we are the only one. So.
We
counts.
all
do.
can ignore
we
California.
pretty much ignore
Yeah.
California.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy to do that myself. That's not a heavy lift for me, I can tell you.
So from Australia originally, I take it.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
And which part?
Perth, so the West Coast.
Oh yeah.
People don't understand how big Australia is as a landmass. Like, it's further from Perth to Brisbane or Sydney than it is to fly from New York to Los Angeles by about an hour.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It's a long way.
Yeah.
So when you fly from Sydney to Perth or Brisbane to Perth, you're looking at pretty much a 6-hour flight.
Okay.
Yeah. See, this is the Maldives are north, and I think a little bit west of Perth. And you
Yep.
see the Maldives, all the cottages and everything, the hotels that are like out over the ocean. I'm like, oh, that looks awesome. I'd love to go there. And then you find out it's like 50 hours of flight time to get there from here. And I go,
not.
I'll just keep going down to the Caribbean. I don't need to
Exactly.
go to the other side of the world to
Or-
get to another
Orange
beach.
Beach
it's
is
pretty
close.
far.
Yeah, I can go to Alabama and drive there in 12 hours. Yeah, I don't think I need that. Yeah, they started
Yeah.
doing that in South America, so I can go down
Alabama's
there.
a little different birth, but
A lot less teeth, that's for sure.
yeah, I lived in Alabama for a couple of years in Birmingham, and folks were all nice, but Alabama's its own thing.
I was waiting to see where you're going to go with that, Greg.
It's definitely
I,
unique.
I,
Poontang
I
on the
put myself in a box.
pontoon.
Yeah, my wife and I, we love the redneck Riviera down there, going down on the Gulf Coast, and we go
Laugh.
down there quite often. And there's a good bar down there, the Floribama, right on the.
I've had a couple of insane. I think everyone that goes there is it's just that sort of place.
It's
You
got its
can't
own
just
vibe.
stop in for a drink.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We like it down there. We go often. So my wife just
Yeah,
got
it's
back
great.
yesterday. She was down there for a week by herself, just enjoying the vibe. So
Drinking all the bushwhackers.
all the bushwhackers she could
All the
find.
bushwhackers here. I bet
yeah.
she had the best week ever.
Yeah.
Especially by herself.
Well, for anybody that doesn't know, can you give a brief description of the definition of larrikin?
Yeah, so a larrikin is an Australian slang term. It goes back to the 1800s, like, basically the founding of the country. And it means someone that doesn't follow convention, someone that does their own thing, sort of takes action and then asks for forgiveness later, but does it with no malicious intent. It's always with a good-natured, the closest thing here in the US parlance would be a maverick. Think of Tom Cruise in Top Gun kind of person that is, well-intentioned and wants to do the right thing, but wants to do it the way they want to do it. And that's what a larrikin is. In Australia, the archetypal larrikin, and this is the easiest way to picture a larrikin, is Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter.
Yeah.
The late Steve Irwin. So he is literally the epitome of an Australian larrikin. He does his own thing. He's got a great fun to be around, and he really doesn't give a shit about what people think of him.
Yeah.
Loved Steve Irwin.
So that's it.
Yeah.
He was great.
Oh.
And love the description.
We-
That's the great brand name for your bourbon.
That is a great name, yeah.
Well, my wife Katie came up with it, and when we were going to change from Lawrenceburg, and we were trying to think of something and couldn't think of anything. And if we hadn't thought of, if nothing came, organically, we weren't going to change it if we didn't think of something better. Because Lawrenceburg was a good name. We were the first Lawrenceburg bourbon company ever, despite its rich history in the whiskey industry. And one day, we had some stupid names when you look back at it that we thought of. And she came up with larrikin. She goes, "This is the," and I hadn't even heard the word larrikin in 20 years. And I was like, holy cow, that is perfect. It's exactly how we built this. Everyone told us not to do it. Everyone said you can't start a distillery from scratch without a boatload of money or backing, financial backing or whatever. 2, you don't know what you're doing. And 3, it's just not a good idea. So that made me absolutely 100% certain of doing it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, you tried to grow rye in Kentucky.
yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that didn't work. Neither did the malted barley, and neither did the barley. That was a bigger disaster. But that's
You
another
don't want to do
story.
the barley anyway. Every distillery we talk to, even the ones that do it still, they're like, yeah, we're not 100% sure we want to keep doing this because
Well, even the ones like we're friends with the guys up at Whiskey Acres up in DeKalb, Illinois. And
Yeah.
those guys, they grow barley, but the problem is you have to send it to a malter, which is, hours away from them, and then back. It ends up costing them like 10 times the cost of just buying it.
Yep.
It really doesn't make
Yep.
sense financially, other than saying I'm 100% grain to
now
glass.
I will say it does come into kind of a new light if you're going to approach the American single malt
You're right.
marketplace,
You're
right?
right.
Because
Yep.
now it's more than just 4 to 6% of your product.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And at that point, if you're talking, 50% plus that you're going to have malt, yeah, maybe growing it does make sense because it's a core part of your product set. But like, I mean, even Chattanooga, we got all our friends down there.
Yep.
They source all their specialty malts. You
Yep.
know, they're not growing anything. They're just sourcing their various malt elements that they're putting into their whiskey. So yeah, we don't see too many that are taking on the barley
Nope.
at all.
Tell me, what do you guys, and I know this is totally off topic, but what do you guys think generally of the American malt sector? And do you think it's got legs or not? And I'm asking this because we're thinking of doing it.
I personally think it does. I think that could be the next big market for American whiskey.
I think it'll keep the bourbon boom from going to a complete bourbon bust.
Good,
Right? It's an
yeah.
alternative product that reaches a whole new market segment. People that may not be big bourbon drinkers, maybe not even big whiskey drinkers, right?
Yeah.
But American single malts are so much more approachable than some of the traditional single malt scotches.
Yeah.
That I think it does open up a new marketplace. And a lot of people seem to be really going after it right now. It's definitely a young market, but now that it's got the official designation behind it, the full classification, I think that is probably a market that's going to continue to expand and help kind of keep the bourbon side present.
And I think it also is going to take the bourbon lovers because, everyone, if you've been in the bourbon boom over the last 4 or 5 years, you're kind of starting to get a little bored waiting for the new releases of the BTEC or whatever the hell's coming out.
Oh
and
my
I
God,
feel like a
yeah.
lot of people are now going, okay, what's next? What's next to try? And like we had a buddy named Corey that came in last night, and my wife Lisa both love single malts. And I think that's just going to draw people to another line of whiskey that they can continue to enjoy and continue to expand their palate and learn something new. I think it's great for the whiskey
And it's
world.
something new that, like, when you see like New Riff's already doing single malt stuff. So like when you start seeing these other brands that have been around for a few years already get into that single malt market, I think you're right. I think it's a good alternative.
Well, especially if you're looking for
for these
complexity,
people.
right? I mean, bourbon, to get complex bourbon takes quite a bit of time. You can blend it into it, single barrels, all the variations that exist there. But sometimes I find bourbon to be missing a little bit of complexity
Rob's dying.
in certain elements. It's like you're like, oh, this is a caramel forward, this is a vanilla forward, this is a fruit forward. The single malts definitely can lend themselves to some additional levels of complexity. I think we had a Lagavulin 12-year, right? So a Scotch, single malt,
Right.
Cast strength.
but it was cast strength and it was finished in añejo tequila barrels. And it gave just enough that you just had this super, super complex flavor. And so those that are, I feel like when you get started with bourbon, I'm sorry, but I don't find Blanton's or Eagle Rare to be particularly complex.
Nope.
They're fine products. Lots of people want to go after them. When you first get into bourbon, you're like, oh, I want the Eagle Rare. I want the Blanton's. That's what people know is the Buffalo Trace line, that whole Sazerac.
Yeah.
But then as they start, kind of expanding out and getting into single barrels, you start wanting to find the complexity. You're finding the things with the long finish. You're finding the things that have that subtle notes in there that you're trying to pick out. And I think there's definitely some big-time room in American single malts to do that.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so it really does open up a whole new marketplace there. It could, I could easily see 3 years from now, suddenly finished single malts are hitting the market the same way that the finished bourbons did, 4 or 5 years ago, and everybody wanted finishes.
Yeah.
Right? It was like everybody got away from straight bourbon and went to a bunch of different finishes.
Right.
You had that same cycle.
I tell you what worries me a little bit, and this is between us girls, is I worry that some of the big producers don't want to deviate into doing something like a whole new designated single malt. So my concern is that some of the big corporate players will put some less than stellar products in the market inexpensively, and will no one would drink sweet red wine for a long time or sweet wine or whatever because the winemakers just dumped all their crap that they couldn't sell into this cheap wine. And you can get some fantastic Rieslings and things like that, but people still shy away from them from 20, 30 years ago when the big makers were making crappy Rieslings and Moselles and that sort of stuff. So my worry is at this nascent stage of the American single malt birth, if you like, that could, whether it's by design or because it's just putting a new product into the market quickly and inexpensively, that could scar the whole raison d'etre, if you like, of the single malt sort of launch. When people start drinking or try it for the first time, and people are invariably going to try the less expensive bottle when they've never had it before or whatever to get a taste of it, and then they'll try it and the quality's not super great or whatever, and then they won't go back to it. To the craft stuff, to the new rips, to the to the old lines from Maryland and things like that. So that's my main pause, and that's why we haven't jumped into the pond yet, because of that. And hopefully that'll shake out over the course of a little bit. But at the end of the day, if the big guys decide they don't think it's, or they don't want to fool with it as a new line, I don't think it'll go the distance. I think it should, but that's my concern.
Well, that's a good call though too, because the single malts we've been seeing popping up have been some of the smaller distilleries.
Yeah.
You got some of the Colorados doing some of that. Texas Balcones does some single malts. You got some even Old 55 here in Indiana, they did a single malt. You're right though. I think if they're not taking it seriously and trying to create a great product, just putting something out trying to beat the market, it could actually fade away, and then the big dogs don't want to do it because it's not taking off. So I get that.
You just said that in 20 seconds, what I took 10 minutes.
No, that's a good call. I didn't think about that.
But that was exactly it.
Well, I think too, like
your point.
You get these
exactly right.
You get these craft distilleries that are going to put this stuff out, and then, like you said, the big dogs are going to come in, and then they're going to put out, some mediocre things. But if you don't put it out at all, then I feel like maybe
you miss them.
You miss that, and it doesn't kind of push other craft distillers to do that process as well. To where if you shy away from doing it, then maybe don't shy away from doing it, just because you want to be on that side of the trend, whether it fizzles out or not, that you were a part of that one as well. Because, look at Starlight. Like, they were releasing a different finish every week. And then Heaven Hill did their grain to glass, and, that was about as cliche as it ever could have gotten.
Yeah.
And they were on the tail end of that. Like, everybody has their seed to spirit, seed to glass, everything. Yeah. But, then to see Heaven Hill come in at, like, the end of that trend was kind of like, well, exactly what you said. They were just kind of hightailing on everyone else's coattails.
But they did throw $100 bottles out there.
Yeah.
Right? Look, when you can go get a Whiskey
cheap.
Acres, when you can go get some of these other guys that are, more approachable in price. Yeah. Just because you threw Heaven Hill on the bottle doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the best product out there. We love Heaven Hill here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they weren't bad products, but at $100 a bottle, I've not had one on my shelf.
Well, I'll be honest with the Heaven Hill grain to glass. I like all three of them. I think the Weeder's the one I like the most of them, but it's so off profile from Heaven Hill. It's like, if I go to Heaven Hill, I want Heaven Hill.
Yeah, it is.
I want Heaven Hill, or I want Elijah Craig. I want those profiles. I don't want, and even Larceny now with their new stuff they've been putting out.
Yeah.
I want that. I don't really want you to create something brand new that doesn't even taste like your product.
I'd be scared
anymore.
to give that to like a new person getting into whiskeys.
100%.
Because then it may turn them off of trying other Heaven Hill products.
Exactly. Yes.
So like that would
You
be
can give
another
it to me.
concern. Yeah.
I already know what Heaven Hill tastes like, so feel free to give me whatever you want.
Oh,
No, we'll kill
that's the thing. They're
we'll kill
still
it all the
good,
time.
but for a $100 bottle, it makes you think about it before you buy it.
Yeah.
If it was a $75 bottle, no question, people
Little
would be
less
buying like
concern.
crazy. But like the first batch of all the Heaven Hill grain glass sold out everywhere. Second batch came out and it's still sitting on the shelves some places. So
6
it
years
is what
too.
it is.
Look,
those are 6 years.
It's going to come down to, in my opinion, on the whole single malt, is going to be what's the quality of the product versus the price.
Exactly.
And if you're coming early to the game and you're throwing something out there that's $100 a bottle, man, it better be the best tasting single malt you've ever had, right? I mean, it just
Exactly.
if you're going to throw a $50 to $65 bottle out there, then all right, now I'm going to put it on my shelf without even having tried it because I want to try it, and I'll buy it for that.
Yeah.
I think it probably
My
wasn't.
worry is that the big guys will put out the $30 or $25 bottle of single malt, which will maybe qualify as a single malt to sell, but it won't be what it should, a good single malt should be.
Yeah.
And that's going to put people off longer
People are
term.
going to try that and then get off on it and
They'll
not
think
expand.
that's what a single malt tastes
Yeah.
like. Yep.
Yeah.
Rather than, so friends of mine up in Maryland, in Baltimore, have a distillery called Old Line. They're two Navy aviators that from back in the old days, and they only make single malt, and they
Nice.
just have some fantastic products. But they're in that $60, $70 range, $80 range. And if you've never had a single malt before, you're probably not going to pick that up at Kroger or Piggly Wiggly or whatever.
There's a
But you might
Southern
pick
boy
up
right
the-
there.
Piggly Wiggly.
Yep. We're in. I think I was just up in Wisconsin last week, and I found out we were in Piggly Wiggly's in Wisconsin. I didn't even know they had Piggly Wiggly's in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Neither.
But
Yep.
I even got a T-shirt. In fact, I'm wearing it right now, a Piggly Wiggly T-shirt. So I was up at Piggly Wiggly in Lake Geneva on, I guess, Thursday, and Hulk Hogan was there.
No way.
Yeah, he just launched a beer, and so there's Greg and Hulk Hogan.
That's awesome.
That's
pretty funny.
hilarious. That is hilarious.
Yep.
I do want to comment here real quick on this cigar.
Yeah.
So I'm getting down to the very end, and
Okay.
I'm well inside the final third.
Yeah.
I just got massive amounts of smoked bacon fat.
Oh, yeah.
Did you? Oh man!
Yes.
As soon as you said smoked, I was like, I know exactly where he's going.
I mean, it
I was
just
thinking
came
the same
through
thing.
like a bomb.
I think when I was doing the initial review, I think I was getting into like a charred ribeye steak.
Yeah.
It was, there's some real savory, dark
I didn't expect that from
steak
this.
notes. Yes.
There's been nothing here to present that at all until I got inside that final third, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden it was just like,
So you had one the other day. So do you think that's the transition to the final third, or do you think
It
that's
is.
the whiskey with it?
it was in the
It's
cigar.
in the cigar.
It's in the
Like I
cigar.
said, when I smoked it, I did not have anything. I probably had something to drink.
You probably had
I
some.
probably had something to drink, but I felt like it was definitely leaning more towards like a really nice charred ribeye steak for me. I think it's where I was going with that before.
yeah.
But I
yeah.
can see definitely the bacon fat. Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely a charred barbecue kind of flavor to it, which is great.
Yeah,
I'm not quite there yet.
This whiskey is surprisingly good. I'm not really sure what I was expecting from it, but
No,
I'm not a
it's-
huge cognac fan.
Did we lose him?
No, he's still with us. He just
Okay.
turned his camera off.
Oh,
I'm
gotcha.
still here. I'm just getting myself one.
Oh, no worries,
Okay.
no worries. He's getting that Piggly Wiggly shirt out. So Piggly Wiggly was what Buc-ee's is trying to be now. So they used to sell the T-shirts. Everybody had a Piggly Wiggly T-shirt or hat. Now everyone's wearing that
Was
stupid
Piggly Wiggly more of
Buckeyes
a grocery
crap.
chain rather than a...
Yeah, it was
They're
like a
grocery.
it's grocery,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're grocery,
Yeah.
like Food Lion, Piggly Wiggly, all those. Yeah.
I miss my IGAs.
You want to hand me the bottle? I'm going to drink some
There
more of this.
he
Hey,
is.
all
There
right.
it is.
Bigly.
Piggly Wiggly, baby.
Hey, it even matches his sweatshirt, orange. Look at that.
I didn't realize that when I put it on. It was very early this morning.
That's great.
That's perfect.
Yeah, this is
That's
is
a
so
good pour, man.
It's a good pour.
Well done. Well
I'm like
done.
drinking right through it. Like it's tasty.
Mine's been going for a while.
So, Mark,
So the
it's
thing
Mark,
with,
right?
with this,
What?
this,
Oh, great.
when we launched the Decade, it was, when I because as I said, we didn't make this whiskey. We blended it, obviously, but we didn't make it. The very first time I drank it, I was like, this tastes like dirt. And I've been told by all my team that I'm not allowed to say dirt anymore. But
Earthy.
it just
Earthy.
did. Earthy, that's right.
Earthy.
Barnyard.
Barnyard.
Another one they
There
threw
you
out
go.
at me. But I think it really, really does. And then when we did half the barrel as Decade, and then for this year, we came across 215-gallon cognac barrels that had cognac in them, obviously, but hadn't had anything else. And so we took those and we filled them, second barreled the decade into those, and it just added a layer to. I don't particularly like. I'm not a finished whiskey guy. It's just not my thing. But this, and the other thing is, we never leave. If we do something like this, we never leave the whiskey in the barrel for very long. I still want it to taste like bourbon.
Yeah.
I don't want it to taste like cognac. I don't want it to taste like Armagnac. I don't want it to taste like sherry. I want it to taste like bourbon. So we'll put it in the barrel for a short time, and I'm talking a few months. It just added that layer of complexity, and rye, particularly 100% rye like this guy that's cask strength, it rounded it out a bit.
Yeah.
And made it more approachable and almost a little Scotch-like, I think.
Yeah.
I just think it worked. And now, if we had left it in for 6 months, 12 months, I don't think it wouldn't have been whiskey anymore to me.
No, I think you did the right thing, because I think it definitely blended out very well.
So, Greg, there is a right answer to this question. I'm going to tell you right now. Tell me you're not doing any Armagnac finishes. Or not Armagnac. Amburana.
We are not.
Thank
Thank you.
You win the lottery today,
Your stock
buddy.
just went up with us.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan. We had
horrible.
a barrel. We actually got given an empty Amburana barrel, and we had a half barrel of, I guess, 5-year-old liquid that we put in it, and it was really for just playing around with it. And we were letting some of our guests and visitors try it, and some people love it, and I just don't get it.
I don't
But,
either.
It's terrible.
I forgot the barrel was there, and we were up reorganising our warehouse a month or so ago now, and we're like, oh, there's that bloody Amburana barrel. We pop it open, and we pulled some out of it, and oh my God, I was like, this is so nasty.
Yeah.
And
Well, we figured
because
out.
we left it in there for months.
Well, you know Alan Bishop, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So we were down there with him when he was still at French Lick. He's now with Old Homestead, and
Yep.
he had some whiskey that he put in a barrel, and actually it was in a tank, and he had Amburana chips in there for less than 6 hours, and it was fine at that point. Beyond that, it's too much. It's just too aromatic.
Yeah.
Honestly, you just need to burn that in your freaking smoker and make some meat or something. 'Cause you don't need to be putting whiskey in that.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it would be like with chips. We never use chips or any of that sort of stuff in our whiskey. If we can't, do it in a barrel, we don't add anything to it. But even, the barrel, it was sitting in there for 6 months, and I'm just like, holy guacamole, what am I going to do with this? So it's still sitting there.
Yeah.
So now it's been in there for 8 months, so who knows what it's like now.
And that's the thing about
Turpentine.
Amburana too. There are people that hunt that stuff and they love it, and good for them. They like it. That's fine. You could probably bottle that and sell it out in a heartbeat. It's not it's
sure.
not our jam. It's not our jam at all. So
No.
tell me a little bit about. Okay, so we have this whiskey here. Tell us a little bit about your lineup you have right now available. What can people be looking for?
Sure. So, what kind of put us on the map as Larrikin was, when we launched at, rebranded, I guess, at Kentucky Bourbon Festival last year, we also launched our first bottled in bond. And it's an 8-year, it's our standard 75-21-4 mash bill, which we pretty much run 90% of our products as. We're changing that this year, but we'll release a higher rye bourbon later this year. But so I grab it here. So this is our bottled in bond, 8 years old. This exploded at Kentucky Bourbon Festival. It became our most popular product. On the back of that, a lot of the podcasters and influencers and things picked it up at the festival. The bottled in bond is one of my very favourite whiskies we've produced, apart from our single barrels. It's certainly really stood up, and as an 8-year, what it allowed us to do. So when we go through and do our single barrels, it's probably 1 in 20 or 25 make it to single barrel status, maybe 1 in 20, around there. And, some are just too hot or spicy. And as I said, we never put anything in the bottle that's too, that'll burn you or offensive going down. And some are just too sort of bland. So when you are able to blend those guys together, and this has been a learning experience for us because I'd never done it before, you can get just an amazing finish, not finish, but product at the end of it. Yeah. And we pulled that off with Bottle in Bond, the very first release, and I think we're on our 3rd now, because we only do maximum of 5 barrels in any blend that we do, or any mixed barrel we do. And we've kept it, I think, pretty darn close to the original profile. Because they're different barrels, it'll change a little bit, but we've been really, really happy with it. It goes great in a cocktail, also, it's kind of what I'm drinking at home now. But we sort of go across the gamut of bourbon. We have our small batch, which is our sort of, we put that up against a product like, say, Basil Hayden. It's an 80 proof. We made that with a little more corn. It's I think it's a little more corn, a lot more corn. It's 86% corn. Can't remember was 86 in, yeah, that's right, 86-10-4. And I didn't want to make our small batch because, I was being the big, single barrel cast strength, if it's not high proof, I don't want to make it, blah, 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 jerk. And my wife was like, we discussed it for a couple of months, argued about it, in fact. She won, of course, so I had to make it.
That's how it works.
That's an absolute 100% true story. But my caveat on that was, I'll only make it if it tastes like bourbon and it smells like bourbon. Because you get a lot of the lower proof, 80 proof whiskeys that just don't have all the characteristics that you want.
Too watered down.
That I want.
Yeah.
I didn't say that out loud, of course, but yeah. But it does, and it's still got a great colour, and you can drink it on a block of ice or in a cocktail and it'll stand up, but you can have 2 or 3 and be still happy. We then have obviously our Bottle in Bond. We have a maple finish, which again, I'm not a big maple guy. I'm not a big finish guy, but we had a maple barrel from my friends at Still 630 in Missouri. They sent us a couple of empty barrels, so we experimented with those and put some 5 or 6 year old in them, and the result was fantastic. And we let our guests and things try it, sort of doing a bit of market research. So we decided to make it a mainstream product. And what we do now is we dump our barrels and we send them to a small mum and pop. He's an Army vet, maple farmer in Wisconsin, in Merrill, Wisconsin. They then put their maple syrup in it. I think they leave it about 6 months, and they make a barrel-aged maple syrup, they're called Lincoln Farms, I think, which is just delicious. They then send those empty barrels back, and we fill them back up with the whiskey. But the one thing we do, I think, that's a little different to a lot of folks, is we only leave it on the wood the second time for maybe 2 months, not very long. So when you drink our maple, it's still bourbon, and you just get the hint of maple at the back.
I like that.
And that's good because a lot of the other ones, like you say, they sit too long, and you get with a lot of the honey finishes that they leave in there for 6 to 8 months, and they're just too freaking sweet.
You can almost pour them over pancakes. They're so sweet. Yeah,
and then it crystallizes.
It reminds
when
you
it
of eating
oxidizes.
waffles.
And
it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Which is fine for people who want that, but that's not what we want.
Right. And there's a huge market for that, and people love it. but it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
Right. So I just don't like anything that's too finished, or particularly I don't like anything that's too sweet. But the maple, that's how it is. It's called hint of maple for a reason, because it's just got a touch of, or it's called American maple, but it just has a touch of maple in it.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't know, you might not even realize that's what that little hint of smokiness and sweetness was.
Sure.
But that's how we've done that. And then we obviously have our decade rye, cognac rye, which you guys are trying now. We have our 2 single barrels. We have a single barrel rye, which is a high wheat rye, 65% wheat, 35% 65% rye, 35% wheat.
I think Will's a huge fan of this rye.
I'm doing good with your Larrikin. I've already killed 2 glasses of it, and I look around, everybody else still has some.
See, we're halfway down the bottle already. We haven't got started yet. So
Yeah, that's. I can't remember the last time we drank one quite this aggressively.
Not yet.
Like it's just good. You can just sit here and sip on it. And
it really makes me want to try your bourbon too.
Yeah.
I can't wait to try your bourbon. So we're gonna have to get a bottle.
Definitely have to come down there.
Can we get this in Indiana? Is it being distributed here?
Yeah.
Yes, we've just moved to a new distributor, a smaller distributor that we're very excited about, and so you can expect in the next month or so to see Larrikin all over the place in the great state of Indiana. So
who's that going through?
Very excited.
Who's that distributor?
I can't say until the ink is dry.
Dang it.
Okay. Because we had
I'll let you.
What's it rhyme with? No.
What's it rhyme with? Yes.
I think we may know.
Yeah.
We won't spoil anything, but
Yes,
I think we may know.
I think we do know. Yes.
When it happens,
I'll let you know offline.
Okay. Cool.
We'll be sure to spread it around the state. That's for sure.
One of our co-hosts.
Because the minute I say it, something will fall over. And
There
we
you
won't
go.
do it.
Yeah.
One of our co-hosts, he's not on the show today. He might call in here before the end of the show, but he's got an interest in an Indiana small batch
Style.
Yeah, small batch style distributor.
Yeah.
So
Craft style distributor. Yep.
Yeah. So they've been
Yeah.
they've been doing a great job of picking up brands like Larrikin and others that for one reason or another the big guys they just don't pay close attention. I mean,
And in all honesty, I would for a brand like you guys, I would say don't go with at least the 2, maybe 3 big dogs because they don't sell your product.
R&DC and
The
Johnson don't care.
And I mean, Southern does a better job, but they're still big, and you're not going to actually see them going out and selling the products
pushing
as
it,
well as some of the smaller distributors. So I applaud you for doing that. That's great.
Well, guys, that's I'm pleased to hear you say that because we went down that road at the very start, with the big dog sort of deal, and on paper we could say we're in 18 states and blah blah blah, but we're in Kentucky and Indiana effectively, and we were doing most of the legwork.
Yeah.
But our new model now is that we go with the craft folks that look after craft distilleries and fine wine. So if they, you're finding some of these, from a distributor point of view, some of these fine wine houses are leaning into to premium craft whiskies to supplement their wine portfolio. And it's perfect for us because that leads us into those really cool sort of mum and pop independent liquor stores that, have a terrific wine selection and they want a curated but approachable whiskey collection as well, and spirits collection.
Yeah.
So that's what we've done, and most, as I mentioned, we were just in Wisconsin, and Wisconsin, interestingly, is now our second biggest market in the United States.
Oh wow!
Because we have a great distributor down there called AVA that is a fine wine house, and now they picked us up late last year. And now we're their third biggest selling product in their whole wine portfolio.
Good for you,
That's
man.
awesome.
I thought people in Wisconsin only drink spotted cow beer. That was it. Nothing else.
I had a few of those this week. Spotted cows.
Oh, they're great.
Okay, I got to tell you another thing. So I was in Wisconsin, and I love people in Wisconsin. I just love visiting. Anyhow, I was in Milwaukee, out one of our retailers, actually at a bar, and he's like, "Do you want an old fashioned?" I was like, "Yeah, that'd be great."
Oh no,
So
in
I'm not
Wisconsin? Oh, you ordered an old fashioned in
Yeah.
Wisconsin. Oh, I know where this
I
is
wasn't
going.
paying attention. I'm talking, doing stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah." He brings out this glass, and it's like full, and there was little shit floating around in the bottom, and there's stuff everywhere. And I take a sip, and I'm like, "What the hell is this?" It was a Wisconsin old fashioned, which was made with brandy.
Yep.
And they'd muddled all the fruit in the bottom, and they must have put like 5 packets of sugar in it. And I'm like, "I can't drink this." And they're like, "No, you have to. It's a Wisconsin old fashioned." I was like, "Okay."
A fruit cocktail.
Can you make me a Kentucky old fashioned, please?
Oh my God! Well, the problem was I didn't know. I wasn't paying attention. I grabbed it. I thought, "That's pretty cool," and I was like, it was pretty interesting. But I tell you, Wisconsin folks like a drink, and
Or 5
they're
or
all
6.
Yeah. Everyone's super nice, and it's a great place to visit. I really enjoy it going down there or up there, I guess.
Yeah, you get up into the small communities where they're doing all the timber work. Those people, they'll drink you under the table.
Yeah.
Well, I did drive through the great state of Indiana to get there, so next time I'll stop.
You should stop by and see us, yes. Let us
Yeah.
know when you're
Yeah,
coming through
be
next
happy
time.
to.
We'll make sure everyone's here hanging out.
I got a whole nother house
well,
you
I-
can stay at.
True.
Yeah, exactly.
Airbnb Mike.
Yeah.
You ain't bitter, though.
I'm not bitter. I digress.
No.
So Mike's trying to sell a house right now, so he's...
Perfect.
Yeah.
I won't even,
Slightly bitter.
I'll just be out before the people come through and look at it.
Got to get them first.
I'll sleep on top of the mattress. I won't sleep on top of the bed. I'll just bring my sleeping bag. They won't even know it's there.
Done. Cheers.
Cool.
Okay, so I don't know about everybody else, but I'm on to our second cigar.
I'm just in the final third of the
Rob,
first one.
remind me what it is that we're smoking here.
That's the Crowned Heads Jericho Hill.
So I don't...
Heel.
I don't think I've had this, and it immediately, like, little, like, pepper right at the tip of the tongue.
Yeah.
Like,
It leans towards that black pepper kind of thing going.
It's marketed as a pepper explosion.
Yeah.
I would call it a pepper. I've actually been kind of not retro-hailing it yet because I'm a little
Yeah, I'm a little
concerned.
worried.
It's not that bad.
I don't want to cry
It's
on
not
video again.
Yeah, exactly. It's
not
not make
that
me
bad.
cry. But this is really good, and it's going very nicely with this rye.
I'll get into it here shortly.
It's bringing out. I did not really get any mint out of this really at all, but then with this cigar, it's
getting
pulling
it now?
just a little hint of that mint that you get from the rye.
That's what I love about pairing cigars and whiskey together, because every cigar is going to change whiskey, and every whiskey is going to change your cigar. And I think that makes it so much fun. Well, Will's
I
out
would love
again.
to collaborate, but I killed mine already. So
We tried to give you the bottle again.
I know.
Now I will
Still
say,
got more to
Greg,
drink.
I'd be curious with you, getting some of these cigars that you're getting, these custom blends, and I was in here the other day, and some gentleman came in from a distributor, and we tried some Hoot and Young.
Yeah.
And Rob, you had received a Hoot and Young cigar, which again is not infused or anything. It doesn't have the bourbon in it, but it's like they built that cigar to
Pair.
To go with the
pair
whiskeys.
with the whiskey.
Yeah.
And you're now the second. I mean, we've seen kind of the Maker's Mark cigars and the Pappies, and we know that they're junk. Sorry, they're just not. I mean, they're just not really, something that was
marketing
designed.
thing,
It's a marketing thing.
It is,
yeah,
100%.
Yeah, but Greg, I'm kind of curious. How are you viewing this? Do you think that there's kind of something where we start seeing more of the distilleries potentially work with blenders and get cigars that are, ones that they suggest to be paired with their whiskey?
I really, really hope so because look, there is nothing more, Kentucky, nothing more bourbon or nothing more whiskey than a cigar and whiskey. Literally, there's nothing.
Amen.
And that's why when we, our distillery is in an old farm machinery shop. It had tractors and lawnmowers and all that stuff in it. It had been that for 30 plus years when we bought the property. And so we pressure washed the concrete floors probably 12 times. I don't think they'd ever, there was so much oil and crap everywhere. So that took a long time. But what it allowed us to do was we had a blank slate, and our tasting room's pretty big. And I was just like, you know what? I always wanted to have a walk-in cigar humidor at home, which I've never been allowed to, of course. And then, I said, let's build a good-sized humidor at the distillery. And, you know, it took us a good 6 or 8 months to get it stocked how we wanted it, because we didn't have the money to just fill it up with stuff. But it's gone great. We sell a lot of cigars now. And what we're doing at the distillery, and I mentioned before that we're just breaking ground and doing some expansion already and that sort of thing. We're building a 70 by 40 covered deck in the front of the distillery under the main roof, which we're building primarily for doing cigars with whiskey pairings. And so you'll be able to come into Larrikin and, you know, there's different experiences you can do, you know, single barrels or whatever. But one of those will be a whiskey pairing or a whiskey tasting. So you can go and do, say, 4 or 5 tastings and try all our bourbon, but we'll pair it with a cigar.
Awesome.
Perfect.
And what we're going to do is have 2 or 3 different cigars that you can choose from sort of off the rack, as it were. One of them will be ours, and we'll have another couple to mix it up. Or if you want to get something more ultra premium, you want to get a Macanudo, or you want to get whatever it is, or one of the other ones that Chris finds, you can do that. But you'll be able to sit there and do your tasting and have a cigar and see how they pair together with the different whiskeys and all that sort of stuff. And if you just want to come in and get a old fashioned or a straight pour, you'll be able to sit on the deck, have your drink, and have a cigar and sit around and talk. And we're building a couple of 2 or 3 fire pits on the grass in front of that, putting some big mature trees and things in down there. So, you know, you'll be able to do a tasting with cigar pairing, or you'll just be able to get a cocktail or a drink and have a cigar outside. So it's a really important part of our experience at Larrikin. You know, we're little, right? So you come to Larrikin, you know, you can do the tour in 45 seconds if you're in a hurry, because you're literally walking into the still room, there's the still, and there's the barrels over in that building there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it, right? It's not a big thing. You don't put on headphones and walk around and do all the stuff. It's a small working craft distillery.
Sure.
So you just come in and you can look at it, and you can even dip your finger in it if you want. But that's kind of the extent of it.
Yeah.
What we offer is the experience, and that's why the cigar part of this is so important to us, is we want people to come and hang out, not just sort of come in and put your headphones on, do your tour, and, you know, buy a bottle and get out of there. We want people to enjoy it, sit around. They can bring their dogs once we put the tents up,
Yes.
if they want, and their dog can run around. They can have a cigar on the porch and enjoy the experience and not be rushed, and then have a beer if they want. So
Love it.
that's
gonna
what
be
we're
awesome.
trying to build out there. So it's more experiential than just, we do cocktail classes as well.
Oh,
Emily, our front of house manager, teaches cocktail classes. If you want to come in and do a tour and learn how to make, I think she does 3 cocktails for every group that comes in for that. And, you know, that's an experience. And we do a bottle your own experience. And it's more experience than tour and look at the still sort of deal.
That's awesome.
And that's,
I like that.
That's a long way of saying the cigar thing is really, really important.
It
to
is.
Yeah.
We'll have to
Our
stay in
business.
touch too, because my wife and I, we make dog treats, leashes, and collars, and we can do custom printed things with your logo on it for your leashes and collars.
We love dogs.
If
My
you
dogs
want
are
to
at
sell
the distillery
branded,
whenever I am.
yeah, if you want to sell branded material or dog treats, we do freeze-dried treats as well. So if you want to
Ooh.
talk about that
Can
later
you make
on,
me dog bandanas?
we could do bandanas.
yeah?
Yeah. We can embroider them with like your logo or whatever you want.
Yeah. Get some purple Larrikin bandanas.
There you
Yeah,
go.
like gold lettering or orange lettering.
Yeah, let's talk offline, because I'd love to have a chat about that. We're a super dog-friendly distillery, so if you bring your dogs in, as long as they're under control, they can come. We don't let kids in, but we let the dogs in.
Well, Mike's
yeah.
Mike's more of a cat guy, but
Oh shit! Bullshit.
We certainly don't let cats in.
That's right.
Good,
That's
don't.
right. No cats.
No cats. No, but yeah,
No cats, but bring your
yeah,
dog.
we'll talk offline. We'll connect afterwards.
So we
Yeah,
talk
it's
a lot
great.
about the culture associated with like cigar lounges, you know, kind of the community that it builds, and it's an important factor here at Final Third. And it sounds like you guys are doing something similar down there. One of the things that we've talked about, both up here and down in Kentucky, is the potential for a cigar trail,
Yeah.
and kind of aligning that with Bourbon Trail, right? Because you guys are kind of the odd duck here in having cigars available on site at the distillery. But
Yeah.
we do know that there's a number of cigar lounges, and with the law potentially changing in Louisville and allowing indoor smoking at cigar lounges, there's some good places down in the Kentucky area that you can go and have a good pour and a good cigar. And it sounds like you guys are like right up
idea.
there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Well, we could be the. I'd be happy if the whole cigar and bourbon the whole cigar trail was just at the distillery. So
Yeah.
you could walk around the front yard, and that's the trail, and then you can come back and have your cigar.
Yep.
But we would like if that gets off the ground, we would love to be part of that because it's an important. You know, you think if you're on your bachelor party or whatever, you want to have a cigar. You're on a work trip with a group of colleagues or your buddies from high school. There's nothing better than having a whiskey and a cigar, and you're chewing the fat, chewing the shit, whatever.
Yeah.
And they just go together.
Yep.
They really do. Yeah.
Yeah, it creates community in a way that it is missing in a lot of parts of our country, and helps people kind of come together and relax. And yeah,
Like it really, really does, genuinely does, and that's why we're pretty excited about it. We'll probably bring out a second cigar when we go and do our fact-finding trip down to Miami next month, and you know, we'll play around with a couple of different blends. And Julio does, like, we get him to try the whiskey, and then he'll say, well, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this and that, and he's just a genius at doing that. It's he can do more with sort of his stuff left on the table and mix blending them all together and know exactly what he's doing. You could, you know, if you trained for 100 years to do it, you wouldn't be able to do it.
we
Yeah.
have a Julio like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
it's a good skill to have.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Well, Greg, tell us, do you have any like big upcoming events, or are you guys pretty much focused around just, you know, the remodel and getting everything up and running?
No, we have actually, I wish this was another few days, but I'll let you guys know beforehand. We'll have a product release coming up in the next week or so around the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
It's a new line for it. It's a product release. Like, think of when we did Bottle in Bond. That's a mainstream product for us now. This will also be a mainstream product.
Nice.
One thing we do at Larrikin is try and do things, you know, the Larrikin way, you know, a little bit different. So, you know, if we're putting out a single barrels, which we do on bourbon and rye all the time, we don't like announce that or anything. That's just our single barrel. But this next product is something that it's bourbon, but I don't believe it's been done anywhere before, and we're super excited about it. And it's got a nice little tie-in to the Kentucky Derby, and Kroger actually will be releasing it for us around the state of Kentucky initially, but it'll be in Indiana and Wisconsin and everywhere soon after that. But
Awesome.
so we're pretty excited about that. We also have I mentioned we're going to release our new high rye bourbon this year. We'll probably have a couple of expressions of that. A higher proof, older expression, and a sort of a 5-year-old also. And then we're also leaning heavily into our gin production. We have one gin that just on, Friday, it was awarded 94 points, I believe, and best gin in show at the Monterey International in California, which was pretty fun. I love making gin, and Australians all love gin, like the British. Like I love gin. And this guy is a rose petal and cucumber along with the juniper. We don't do anything that's got a lot of juniper in it. I don't like that.
I'm
American gins to me taste like a bit pine soley. You know, there's just too much juniper in them. So these are more what they call classic Australian gin, in that it's a lot more citrusy and lighter, sort of without being too syrupy or too minty fresh. So the gin, we're very excited by that. We'll probably have 4 or 5 expressions come out this year to build our gin portfolio. And then, of course, you know, we've got Kentucky Bourbon Festival, which we're super excited about. We love Bourbon Fest, and we've got bourbon on the banks. Yesterday, we did the Mac and Cheese Festival and
nice.
Bourbon Festival in Frankfort, Kentucky. I didn't get to go because I was driving back from Wisconsin, but apparently there was a lot of mac and cheese and bourbon. So what's not to like about that?
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got a couple of big announcements, and then of course, once we, you know, we'll have a grand opening for the new facility, or the expanded facility, whenever that gets finished, which will be pretty fun. Maybe we'll get you down for the opening of the cigar porch and all that sort of stuff.
That would be awesome.
That would be kind of cool.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be a good little podcast locale. You could try a few different cigars.
Yeah.
Try all our whiskey. Sit outside on the porch.
Yeah, we can do on-site trips. We've done some in the past, and we're looking to do more. So we can definitely talk about that once that's set up. That would be awesome.
It'll only be a couple of hours away. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too far. It's
So
about
yeah,
2.5
we got a
from
bunch
here.
going on.
What's your timeline on that?
The minute it stops raining here, they're going to break ground on it. So, you know, it'll probably take them a couple of months to build, but I'm hoping it'll be up and running by summer.
Okay, perfect.
So, the other thing is we have a new head distiller. I needed to get someone in here, one that knew what they were doing, and 2 to get some help. So Barb McDonald joined us, a week ago, I guess, 2 weeks ago. She was the head distiller at Law's Whiskey House in Colorado. She was there for about 6 years and was instrumental in building out their whole operation, their stills, and you know, she's also an engineer, which is helpful because she's going to be building out our still house now that she's on deck. So Barb's like just a wonderful distiller. She's super knowledgeable. She was born in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, where our distillery is, if you can believe that.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Her parents still live here, and so yeah, she will be on the ground full time in about another 3 weeks or so once she gets all sorted out in Colorado. So we're really excited to have her on board. It was a big deal. And the other bit of news I didn't tell you, on Friday as well, we found out that the Larrikin single barrel rye, the high wheat rye with the yellow, it's got a yellow label, was awarded best spirit in show at the Monterey International.
That's great.
Scored 98 points.
Oh,
Damn.
nice.
Wow.
Yeah, it won best whiskey, best rye, best spirit, won the President's Citation, something else. And yeah, we were blown away.
Well,
and it,
congratulations.
you know, there was a lot of big distilleries in that mix, and you know, this I think Garrison Cowboy was the next on the list after us.
Interesting.
That's a hell of a bourbon too. Yeah.
So I got to ask you
So
too.
yeah, 98 points, which was we were pretty stoked about.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's great. So I got to ask you what you think or know about your neighbors down the road, just a little bit of Old Commonwealth.
Not much. I know they've been facing challenges with the county and planning and all that sort of stuff, which has delayed them a lot.
Shucks.
But insofar as you know, what they're making or doing, I don't really know. I've met a couple of the guys, but not for probably 12 months when they were sort of starting out. It's in a it's about probably 10 or 15 minutes from us.
Yeah, it's pretty close to you guys.
Yeah, it's right on the water there. I'm excited that there's another, you know, smaller. I don't know if there'll be a NDP or there'll be distilling, but I'm super excited that there's another, distillery or whiskey house flows to us, because the one thing about this industry is that I don't care. It doesn't matter. Not that I don't care. It doesn't matter if they're big or small craft distillers like us, or they're big corporates like Campari and Wild Turkey next door. If I have a problem with a bit of machinery and the still or whatever, or I run out of cap corks like I did once, I can call Wild Turkey or Four Roses, or I can call Whiskey Teeth who are about 20 minutes from us, or Woodford, and they'll help.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
community.
Yeah, and these guys don't know who I am, but the president of Bardstown Bourbon Company, which is an enormous corporate company, will call me back like straight away.
Yeah.
And they don't have to do that, but they do.
Sorry.
And that's the greatest thing about this industry, is the camaraderie and the community within it. And so, bring it on. I'm super excited that Commonwealth are open. I believe they've got product out now. I don't know if they've opened up the distillery to the public yet, but that's great news for the industry, and certainly for Anderson County, where we are.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time for everyone, seeing a couple more craft distilleries pop up and, be putting out good juice.
Well, it's hard
Yeah.
not to be helpful when you're making alcohol.
Yeah.
You sit down over a drink and you're friends,
Well,
and you help each other out. That's just kind of how it goes.
Something you said, Greg, earlier about cigars and whiskey go together. It's the same. It's the same in the cigar world. Cigar world and whiskey world seem like this massive, group of people, but it's really a small knit group of people that
It really is.
that really want to see other people succeed. The more distilleries that succeed, the better it is for everybody. Same way with cigars. And it's like, you don't want to see your neighbors down the road fail. Like some other businesses, they're like, it's all cutthroat. Now, in these industries, it's not cutthroat. No. There is some out there like that, but most of it is, we want to see everybody succeed. We want to see everybody make good product, and that's the goal.
Yeah, and it's wonderful.
It is.
There's a lot of talk about the bourbon bust and blah blah blah. I think a lot of that is nonsense.
I do too.
I mean, certainly, I think the problem is, and this is me, I don't know, shit from clay, as they say, but, I think there's the underlying issue is that some of the corporate distillers, the big guys, made way too much product over COVID years, and they thought that COVID thing was going to keep going. Not the COVID itself, but the wave of people just buying.
Right.
The business,
With-
yeah.
And obviously it didn't. And all of a sudden, so they've got inventory that, doesn't look good on the books, and that's what affected their, shareholders or whatever it is. And then obviously the tariffs that we're being saddled with are additionally very unhelpful. There's a lot of people losing their jobs around here because, if you're a big distiller or even a smaller distiller and you export and, half your product goes overseas,
Right.
that's going to really hurt you. And it's hurting people now. People I know are being let go because they're involved in the product that goes overseas, and that's just stopped. So that's a challenge. But insofar as, the bourbon bust, I think it's just so overblown in the press, and, they're looking at, the earnings reports of the big 3 or 4 distillers, and that's what they're basing all of this doom and gloom on.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're seeing more visitors this year already than we did last year. So that's not going away.
Right.
People still love bourbon. Sure, there might be a glut of, some whiskey out there or products out there, but I don't think it's like the whole. It's a slowdown, sure, but that happens in every industry. It happens in the auto industry. It happens in everything.
But I
There's
think
always
it's-
ebbs and
so-
flows.
I think it's mostly, if you ask me, the bust is about secondary.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's where I was
It has
gonna go.
nothing to do with mainstream. The only reason that these big guys are seeing a drop in their sales is because the secondary people are not out there getting the money that they used to get, because it's like they were all selling to each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, that's what
Yeah.
it was. It was all a bunch of horse trading with bourbons and trying to prop up prices. And
That's a very good point.
Yeah, and okay, so now there's this glut of whiskey out there, good whiskey, and suddenly people are like, you know, we've been talking about it for 2 years, you know, the last year on the podcast, obviously. It's like, go out and try stuff that you haven't tried before.
Yeah.
Stop chasing after, you know, a B-Tech bottle. Yeah, they're good. Go buy a pour at your local, you know, bar that happens to get lucky enough to have a bottle.
Yeah.
And you know that you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay $60 for a pour to have, you know, some sort of, you know,
me.
yeah, or Thomas H. Handy or whatever.
Yeah.
Fine. Go ahead and do that, but don't waste your time on the bottles. For what you spend on secondary for those, you could buy Larrikin, you could buy
4 or
Whiskey
5 bottles.
Acres,
Yeah,
you could buy Ben
multiple
Holiday,
bottles
you
of
could buy
stuff
all
that's
these.
just as good, if not
Yeah,
better.
these really,
Yeah.
really good small batch distilleries and try some stuff. And I think we're starting to see that really take hold. And it's not just the reckless buying,
Right.
with no end in sight.
Well, I think a lot of it is the people that got into bourbon during the boom are not going away. They're just going to stop playing the game.
Right.
Yep.
And I feel like places like you were talking about, Greg, is I think the smaller distilleries making it more of an experience is when it's going to draw people in. That's why Starlight's done so good. They still have an experience
Right.
to go down there and hang out on the farm and do all the stuff during the day and get to try some good whiskey too. And I think that's what's going to actually drive the boom, you know, going forward, is going to be people wanting to have an experience and actually go out and enjoy, and also enjoy supporting something local. You know, obviously you probably
Yep.
have a hell of a local following because you're their place. You're in their backyard. They want to create community and they want to be there, so they're going to be there all the time. And that's what I think that people are looking for now more than they're looking for, you know, hunting down a William LaRue Weller or whatever.
Yeah,
out
I was
there.
talking to Corey yesterday, and he brought up Cedar Ridge.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been going out to the Iowa IndyCar race for a few years now. Every time I'm out there, I mean, Cedar Ridge is sold here, but I buy it out there, right? Because I'm in Iowa.
Yeah.
And he said, man, you got to go to the distillery because it's fantastic, and they have a ton of distillery-only releases. So
Yeah.
I think that's going to be on the list when we go out for the race this year, to go ahead and make the hour up and hour back down off
Yeah.
the interstate to go there. But again, it's, you know, it's those places that become destinations.
Yeah.
And that's where I see the growth still absolutely continuing. It's not, I agree with you, Greg, it's not a bust. It's just a transformation in the marketplace.
I agree. Yeah.
It is, and you know, you look at it, you know, and this is anecdotal, but you know, all these people you were just mentioning that come in and have the experience and try the whiskey, etc. They go home to Illinois, they go home to Wisconsin, they go home to Tennessee, and then they're buying it from their liquor barn or their Kroger or their Piggly Wiggly or their independent liquor store because they've tried it. And you know, whiskey's an experience, so they go back and they see the bottle on the shelf and they're like, oh, do you remember when we were there and we
Yep.
talked to this person and this person and we had a really good time? They buy it because they remember the experience.
It's the Jackie
and
Zykan effect. That's
Yeah.
what we call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, if you look at our Google reviews, for instance, for Larrikin bourbon on Google, you know, we've got a whole bunch of, like, they're all 5-star reviews, which is fantastic. We love it. But almost to a review, they say, oh, we had a great time at Larrikin thanks to Erica, or thanks to Emily, or thanks
Yeah.
to Don, or thanks to Belle, whoever's working, you know, in the tasting room. Almost to a review, it says that they had such a great experience because of this person.
Right.
And that's the key,
Yes, it is.
right?
Yep.
If you've just got corporate hourly employees, you know, that come in from a hire service or whatever they're called, it's not going to be the same. And that's why I think you're seeing these craft distillers, you know, really having an impact or resonating with folks because of that. They come in and they remember the experience. They remember the person that served them at the bar, at the tasting bar, because that person is generally local. They're invested in the success of the business. They like the whiskey. They understand the history and they know the story. And that's, you can't put a value on that, in my opinion.
No, customer service is one of those things that has kind of been lost. It's coming back. It's come back pretty hard over the last 5 years. I think COVID really
Yeah,
helped with that
I
because a
agree.
lot of people, they, what we found with business back when COVID was happening is that either some people just dropped off the face of the earth and said we're going to hold it out, wait it out, and you had other people pivoting and figuring out how to take care of their customers. Those are the ones winning, and I think that mindset has kicked into the whiskey world and the cigar world, and it's starting to become a little bit more mainstream. And honestly, the young people, honestly, and I say young people, I'm talking 21 and above, obviously. But young people are the people we're actually after right now because, the older people they're going to be fading off at some point. And you want the young people coming in, and they want an experience more than they want to just have a good whiskey or a good cigar.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Well
You know,
said.
that's why at the distillery we have Larrikin slushies and we have, Larrikin coffee or Kentucky coffee as we call it, and we have a bourbon cream, which if you guys haven't tried it, you have to. I'll send you some.
All right.
Yeah, love to try that.
Big fans of bourbon cream.
But we turn that into a what do you call it? Like it's literally like drinking a root beer float with bourbon cream and and root beer and stuff. Because
Now
the
you're
folks
talking.
that come in now don't just want mum and dad, old fashioned or bourbon on the rocks or bourbon and dry. They want something different. They want to have something they haven't had at home.
Yeah.
And I think this is also where the craft distillery thing is really finding its feet now. Because, I can make a barrel or two of something and try it out. And then the folks can come in and try that at the distillery and buy it at the distillery if they want it. But once that 2 barrels is gone, and I'm sure you see this at Starlight and see it at all these other places. So I can make a whiskey that I might not like, but other folks want to try it. And you can't do that at the big. We love the big guys. We love Wild Turkey and Four Roses.
Oh, sure.
They've been so great to us. So I'm not sort of trying to dump, bad vibes there. I'm just saying from a experiential thing, it's opened up a whole new world of people that want to come and try the bourbon trail or just come to the distilleries in Indiana or Ohio or Colorado.
Yeah.
And, and when you go to those other states, I mean, all these big guys are in Kentucky and Indiana, effectively.
Yeah.
You go to the other states, all you're seeing is craft distilling, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that, the goal of the big guys is way different than the craft distillers, right? I mean, they're looking at international distribution.
Exactly.
They're looking at number of cases sold. Like, they're trying to create a product that's going to go out to a bunch of grocery stores and liquor stores and sell versus, the craft distiller, to your point, trying to make an experience, trying to, extend that experience back into your house.
Yeah, it's
where
almost
you can
like
go and get that bottle.
quality versus quantity kind of thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's why I think you also don't see, kind of the cutthroat in the
Right.
industry. It's 2 totally different markets,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, you go to
We
like
don't compete with Wild Turkey or Four Roses.
And you
No.
shouldn't
Right.
try.
We just don't.
Yeah.
And they don't compete with us. They don't care about what we're doing. And what they sell makes no impact on my business either.
No.
yeah.
Like, in a good way.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's two
Yeah.
totally
It's two
different markets.
two different things, yeah.
But that's what's nice about having, some craft distilleries around some of the big ones like Wild
Right.
Turkey or Roses because, you have a day and we all know this. You go down on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail and you might only be able to get 2 or 3 in because the hours are so short.
Yeah.
It's like, if you get a chance to go to one of the big dogs, you're like, oh, I can't go anywhere else. Oh, my God, here we go. Larrikin's right next door. Let's go check them out. All of a sudden now someone falls in love with your brand because you're close by. And I like
Yep.
that.
And they sat for 3 hours when they planned to be there for 30 minutes.
Exactly. Then they come
Yeah.
over to your place and actually have a total experience with customer service and all that stuff, and they fall in love with your brand. So that's brilliant, actually.
Just be open on
Actually-
Mondays.
Yeah.
Yes.
If anyone goes to Buffalo Trace, there's a small distillery across the road called J. Mattingly. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
we're
know
very
it.
familiar.
We know
with
those
it.
well, yeah.
That's literally across the street. You can't see it. But
Yeah,
it's
they
across
stack
the
their
street,
containers
so-
to block it.
yeah, I know. Can you believe that? That's
That was a great. That was a great fu to them.
Yes,
just
it
like
was.
stacking all their trailers in front of it.
Yeah, true story. But, and that's why I'm saying go and see those guys once you've gone and grabbed your bottle of Blanton's or whatever. go over to Mattingly because they're doing some great. Aaron's the master blender there.
He's
he does some
awesome.
super great stuff, and we love those guys. Like he'll come up most Sundays at our distillery and bring up stuff he's been playing with, and I get to try it. And he's like, "What do you think of this one? What do you think?" Because our palates are almost identical.
Yeah.
And it's a great experience. So that's another thing where two small craft distilleries working together to, you know, to refine products or get ideas and all that sort of stuff. And it's, you know, it's pretty cool. It's really great being involved in that sort of thing.
Yeah, Aaron's a cool guy. We've been over there quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's a cool place.
What? And you haven't visited us? Come on.
Well,
We will.
we will. We'll
will.
get there.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah.
We'll get there.
Looking forward to it. And this has been awesome. Like
has.
the whiskey is absolutely fantastic. I mean,
We've
you sent
all
us
had two
one bottle.
pours.
Like most of the time we get, you know, some samples and we're going to get 3 or 4 different bottles and we're kind of just tasting through them. I enjoyed this because this bottle was so good. We just sat here and I mean, the bottle's half gone.
Over half gone.
Over half gone.
Yeah.
And we just
I've
don't
only had 3
normally.
pours. What are
It
you
might
talking
be
about?
Yeah,
gone.
I'm actually going to get a third pour, I
It
think.
might be gone here before the end of the
It
day.
might be
Yeah.
gone before the end of the but this
Yeah.
is, you know, this is what we talk about. You're supposed to do. You get a
This
good
is what you're
bottle of
supposed to
bourbon.
do, yeah.
You sit with your
Sit
friends.
with friends, have a
Share it.
cigar,
Exactly.
enjoy
Exactly.
great product. Yeah.
That's the whole
That's
purpose.
exactly what it's for.
It is 100%.
Exactly.
Come get it, Jen. Oh, are you pouring it in there?
She's getting her
there
own
we
pour.
go.
All right.
Oh, here, use mine then.
So Mike's
You
wife.
can just take it straight out of the bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Drink it straight out of the bottle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's gonna steal it. That's my wife, Jen. She's
Hey, but
watching.
make sure to bring that
Hi,
back
Jen.
because
Yeah, we
I want
need that
another.
back.
I
Yeah, we
need
need
another
that
pour.
Greg says hi.
Yeah.
So we say it all the time, you know, women have really good palates. So we're starting to pass this out to the women in here now to let them try it because they're going to tell us how great it is too.
Sometimes
so.
they school us, man. Some
They
of the
do.
females in our lives.
Oh,
They do.
Hey,
My
my
wife,
daughter, she's 21, man.
Katie,
She's
much
got to
better
kill it.
palate than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
crazy.
I love the other day when Adele was in here, which Adele is Scott's daughter and my daughter Chloe, where they're over there. They're talking about recipes for cocktails and stuff. I'm like, Adele just turned 21. Chloe is just turned 22.
Oh, like they haven't already been drinking for years.
No, their
Oh,
yeah, I
first
was
drink
gonna
was
say, the
21.
first drink was the
First drink was
21.
21. Yeah. First cigar was 21.
Yeah, I was teasing my daughter the other day. I was like, I can't wait till you turn 21 and, you know, in December and you get to have your first
Your
drink
first
with Dad.
drink.
LOL.
But, I mean, I do feel like and that's what's fun about the craft distilleries and honestly going on a tasting experience because the wine world really did a good job with this. You know, you used to go to wineries, you check out all the wineries, you do a tasting, all their
Very
stuff,
good point.
and
Yep.
you educate yourself on the process, and then you become a lover because of the process. And the same thing happens in whiskey. You know, my wife was never into whiskey until we started going to distilleries. And once she started learning the process behind it and nerding out a little bit on that, she's like, I kind of dig this now. And now she pulls out shit that I don't even pull out. And it's really a lot of fun to actually do that as a couple. You don't have to do this just as guys. You do this as a couple or even just women going out.
Yeah, we have a lot, like I'd say more than half of the people that visit us are couples or groups of couples. But what we're seeing more in the last, 12 months, is that we're seeing groups of like women's weekend coming in.
Yep.
But what they'll do is they'll come in and they'll do 2 distilleries, and then there's Rising Sun Winery up the road from us. They'll go to the winery, they'll come to us, and then they might go to the ice cream that makes ice cream or the chocolate place up the way.
Yeah.
And so they'll mix it in not just with bourbon. They'll do 2 or 3 different aspects to it, but they appreciate, they know their bourbon.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just so great. I mean, our whole, my team at Larrikin, aside from me and Don that works 1 or 2 days a week in the tasting room, is all female. Our entire staff is female. From the still house to production to all the admin and compliance, sales and marketing, it's all female. They get it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I think part of it too is that they don't have the same inbuilt biases, you know, I only drink Jim Beam or I only drink this or I only drink that, because I think by and large the female consumer is pretty new to the market, or that they haven't had their family, they weren't, their dad wasn't saying here, sitting around with their friends. You know what I mean? They're a new palate. They're open to all the new stuff, and the female market to us our female visitors are super, super important.
Same here. Yeah. Hey, Lisa, grab you a Glen and come over and try this before it's all gone. We've almost killed this bottle.
We do know that Will Breeden's trying to call in. Did he get the link for the Zoom?
I think I sent it to him.
Maybe he said he's got terrible service. Will Breeden's our fifth usual host on the show.
He should have the link in his email. If he's able to join us, then maybe he will.
We'll get him on here too. So
Yeah.
I managed to join, so it's possible, believe me.
He was on a flight on his way to Vail,
Says Will just
Colorado.
joined. It said it
Oh,
on the
perfect.
screen.
All right.
Got a tough life. Oh, hey, Will.
Hey, Will's
Larrikin
here.
bottle. Get you guys.
Will, you on? Are you on here?
Oh, he was on, gone.
Yeah, he said the service was really bad. I don't know which airport he's in right now.
It must suck being in Vail, Colorado.
Yeah, I'd assume he flew into Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
But I think he was supposed to be in,
I feel
in
for it.
Vail
The Illuminati's
by
blocking his
1:30 or
signal.
So. Well,
Yeah.
We see
Yeah.
you, Will.
Yeah, I can hear you
There
guys.
he is.
Fine.
Hey, there he
Yeah,
is.
hey, there you are. Yeah, bummed I
Welcome.
couldn't
It's really
join
good.
today, but sounds like an awesome day, huh?
Well, we've drank almost an entire bottle of Larrikin.
yeah. Sorry,
Yep.
there's not going to be any left when you get
We
back.
gotta
Yeah,
save you this.
it's-
This is what's left.
We
We'll
will.
save you that.
We'll save you at least a good pour of that.
This is
Don't save me anything.
it might be a
He's in
2-ounce sample.
Colorado.
I'll just have to head down to Lawrenceburg and get my own bottle. How about that?
There you go.
Will, if you tell me you're coming, I'll make sure I'm there and I'll give you the whole dog and pony show.
There you
I
go.
love that. You got it, man. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we've been chatting away. It's been super fun.
yeah.
Good deal.
So, Will, you're
They were
driving.
talking behind your back saying how much more fun it is because you weren't on. That's what they're saying. Now you hear they're like, oh, hi, Will.
He knows. It's no
What can I
surprise.
say?
Today he's the other Will.
Yeah.
Yep. Will, you're driving from Denver to Vail right now?
Where?
he froze.
No, I'm driving to Vail Airport just to my hotel. Yeah.
Gotcha. Right on.
I'm driving from just from the airport, so I should be there in about 15, 20 minutes.
He's dodging.
Did you fly in on
dodging
your private
elks.
jet?
Will's got his own private jet.
Yeah.
Well, Will is a newly graced ascot with Fred Minnick, so he just got that at the end of last year. So we're proud to have Will and the team here and American Spirits Council at
We
Tasters.
lovingly call him our ass hat award member. So.
Yes. Yep.
He's
Give
got a
him my
hell of a
last name.
palate.
I'm surprised he got that award before me.
Speaking of Fred Minnick, the decade cognac that you're drinking was named in Fred's top 100
Top
whiskeys in
100,
America.
Yes.
Yeah,
last year.
I saw
Saw
that on
that.
here.
So I keep forgetting about that, and which was like I don't even know where he got it from. So we didn't send it to him or anything. So he's obviously acquired it from somewhere, and we didn't know it was even under consideration. And then I start getting all these texts saying, "Hey, you made Fred's list," and I'm like, "What are you talking?" I didn't even know what they were talking about.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And
It's the best way to
then
win
I
an
googled
award.
it.
Yeah,
it was
that's
really
amazing.
cool. The other bit of news we had this in the last month. We're now officially members of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. So I think we were distillery number 56 to be accepted as members, and we're one of the few craft distilleries, well, not few, but small craft distilleries certainly that are members of the trail. And the KDA, Kentucky Distillers Association, that run that, have just been marvellous to work with and super helpful as we've been going down this journey. And we can't be more thankful to them, and we're super excited to be part of the trail officially now. So
That's awesome.
we've been
That's awesome.
sort of saying we have been for a year, but but now we are.
Now it's official. Yeah, that's great news, man.
Now it's
And
official.
we'll stay in touch on the whole cigar trail thing too, because we've
Yeah.
been talking about that for a couple months. So maybe we just need to put a committee together and start doing that.
Yeah.
And then
And
start,
I've got a
young
couple
guy
of
wants to do
ideas
it.
for you as well for people that might be part of that.
yeah, heck yeah.
Cool.
We'll stay connected. We don't want to take up
Yep.
all your afternoon, so we'll let you go here.
I
we
will
gotta
say
wrap
you,
up.
you do have the prestigious award of being probably the first bottle we've gotten that we're probably going to kill on the show.
On the show.
Ever.
Yep,
I don't think
ever.
we've ever killed an
Awesome.
entire bottle.
Yeah, Will, I think you're going to get a 2-ounce sample bottle. That's about it.
We'll have a little bit for
Yeah,
you.
Will's
Yeah.
going to have to drive down and get his own bottle
He
for
can
sure.
sniff the bottle when
Yeah.
it's done. It's fine.
We'll
You can
save
bring
the
his
cork.
jet down.
Yeah, he can bring his jet down.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Ascot
Can we
Award.
get like a certificate or something for that we can put up at the distillery?
We
Yeah,
need
like a
to.
welcome Will Breeden.
Yeah.
No, that you killed the. That you
We killed the bottle.
Oh yeah,
yes.
we'll,
Oh, yeah.
The first bottle kill from
We'll shadow
sample.
box it and
Like
bring it down. You
I
can
would
hang it on the
seriously
wall.
put that certificate on the wall.
Yes.
Okay. Well, now you've tasked me. I'll make that and I'll send it to you.
There you go.
Yeah, alongside we'll put it next to our Ascot Award.
Yes.
There you go.
We're gonna make the wall, guys.
All right.
I feel
Hell
good
yeah.
about this.
I feel great about this. Yes.
All right, so Greg from Larrikin, if you haven't tried Larrikin yet, look for it on shelves everywhere.
Yes.
Its stuff is fantastic. We've
good.
obviously been enjoying it. Make sure and get down to Larrikin,
Yes.
down there by Four Roses and
Yep.
Wild Turkey. So,
Yeah,
you know,
we're literally next door to Wild Turkey.
Can't
Okay.
miss it.
perfect.
Sounds
Literally
like a road
can't
trip
miss it.
ready to happen.
Yeah.
I like it.
We're
We'll make
definitely
it
gonna
happen.
road trip down there to see you
Yeah,
in the
look-
summertime. So
Yeah, keep looking out in this summer for a podcast coming down there. So we'll be down there for sure.
Stay tuned for that.
I'll make sure I'm not there, or we'll lock the gate.
Oh no, you're going to be there. You're going to help us kill a couple bottles.
Yeah.
Yep.
Twist my arm.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
yeah.
It's a hard job.
All right, Greg. Well, thanks for joining us today, taking time
Yeah,
off
buddy.
the farm. We appreciate you being here and telling us all about Larrikin and your brand and kind of what you guys are all about. So, cheers to you, brother.
Yeah, and where can they
Yeah,
follow you?
thanks, boys.
Where can people find you
Oh
on
yeah,
social media and
Instagram.
everything?
It's just Larrikin is at Larrikin Bourbon. That's both Instagram and Facebook. And on Instagram, I'm Larrikin Distiller.
Nice.
Larrikin Distiller. Okay.
You know, yeah, we'd love to. If people want to follow us, it'd be fantastic. And you know, just remember, everybody, you've got to make sure that the kangaroo is your spirit animal.
Amen, brother.
Perfect.
You want to know my favorite? My favorite thing.
Cheers, guys.
Before you go, my favorite thing was the sticker that came in the package with the wombat on it that said "I poop cubes."
Oh yeah, that's our gin. Yeah,
Yeah.
a fat wombat gin.
I love the fat wombat.
Love it.
Wombat.
We'll have to
Love
get
it.
some of that too.
Fantastic.
They really
Yes.
do poop cubes. They're like little brown sugar cubes.
I had to look it up. Yeah, I had to look it up. I believe you. I
they
know
make,
it now.
I'm sure they make coffee out of that.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Oh,
right, Greg.
don't say that. Come on.
Cheers, brother. Thanks for
Hey,
joining us.
thanks a
man.
lot, Greg.
Hey,
Cheers,
Thanks,
buddy.
boys. Cheers.
See you.
Cheers.
Have a good one.
All right, Greg from
what a
Larrikin.
good dude, man.
We still got Will on?
No, Will dropped off.
Yeah, I figured he's.
Why don't we pay a bill real quick?
I don't have any. Wait,
Oh.
hold on. I have one.
We got one.
We got
We'll
one?
We'll pay a bill real quick.
All right.
Hold on. Hold on.
I'm holding.
Hold on.
We're waiting. Calling all dog lovers. Say hello to Spencer Lee's, offering freeze-dried pet treats, crafted with care and bursting with flavor. Spencer Lee's treats are the ultimate reward for your four-legged friend. Made from single ingredients and freeze-dried to perfection, these treats are packed with all the goodness your pup craves. Be sure to visit Spencer Lee's on Facebook or Instagram for updates and website information. All right,
There it
so
is.
holy shit, this is good bourbon.
Yes, it is.
Rye whiskey, I should say. This is rye, but
Rye.
man, I love that he puts the focus on making good whiskey. Like even with the finishes, he's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to overdo it. I don't want this to be something that's not bourbon or rye whiskey.
Right.
Right, and that is
Well, and
so
his whole
refreshing.
aspect too with it, I don't want the burn at the finish.
Yeah.
That makes you want to go back and keep drinking.
As
I've
it's
demonstrated.
122.4 proof, and we're like just hammering this stuff down
Mine's
like
gone already.
we
Yeah.
haven't drank for a week, and I've been drinking for a week.
Yeah.
I never stopped. And
Right.
Well, and like, okay, so the first sip, I'm like, okay, this is 100% just like corn husks.
Yeah.
Corn husks and rye. And I'm like, okay, that could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing.
But then it expands.
Second sip, and you're like, holy crap. The
You and I
flavor
both looked
pop-
at each other after taking a sip, and we
Yeah.
were both like,
I
wow,
know.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it was very good, very good.
Yeah, yeah. Looking forward to trying more Larrikin.
I am too, man.
Yep, yep. This is right up there with those brands I think that we've talked about, like High Bank and Whiskey Acres and Chattanooga. That
Yeah.
yeah, if you haven't
They're
tried
doing something
this,
special. Yeah.
yeah, I mean you got to try this stuff, right? I mean this is the whiskey worth going after.
What's the take from the peanut gallery out there?
What do you guys think?
Yay.
Oh, it's
Oh,
very
you
smooth.
son of a bitch.
It's smooth.
Damn it! You had to do that, didn't you?
She was
Liesl?
looking right at you when she
Thanks
said
a
it,
lot.
too.
I know. Very smooth.
Did you get any oatmeal?
Did
Yeah.
you notice that Greg called it approachable? He did not call it smooth. He called it approachable.
did say
There you go.
approachable.
I didn't hear that, but yeah.
Yeah. Even Lisa's laughing behind the bar, and she has no idea what we're talking about.
She didn't know what I'm talking about.
smooth.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very smooth.
So I did hear back from old Homestead. Yeah, They actually reached back out and said they want us to come
yeah,
down
yeah.
after they get it opened up. So they're going to reach out to me, and we'll get something set up over here in the next couple months.
Good. Right when it gets
See them
warm.
too. Yeah, which would be perfect.
Hey, late
No
June
lake.
would not be a problem at all. Yep, get out there in
Get
the
us a
lake.
pontoon.
All right, we got one more read that we're just going to fit in here right at the end. I don't have the video for it yet, so Scott's got to read it, and we'll record it later.
All right, so obviously we're super excited about having Harrah's as a sponsor again. We're going to be there on Tuesdays, starting in like the May-ish time frame, late May, early June.
Early June.
Let me just tell you, Harrah's. Experience the thrill of live harness racing action at Harrah's Hoosier Park Racing and Casino now through November 29th. To go along with live racing, guests can enjoy free-to-play nightly handicapping contests, great dining at our outlets, in addition to slots and table games in our casino. Visit www.harrahshoosierpark.com for more information.
I'll tell you something else. After being out there last week, they have stepped their game up on hiring people, and they have some amazing staff that are going to really take their place to a new level.
Oh, I'm so excited about the new food and beverage person.
Oh,
They immediately went out and got Larceny A125, which we've loved. We've talked about
Killed the
it.
shit out of that
stuff.
there last.
Oh, yeah, we destroyed a couple bottles of that last week.
So I think there's going to be a lot of good things going on out there. Obviously, we have a great partnership with them.
Yep.
You know, once we get to that, I think it's June 7th. I'm somewhere in that around that time when they're going to be open up on Tuesdays and
it's
Wednesdays.
early June, yeah.
We'll be out there obviously on Tuesdays when that starts happening. But even before then, I'm sure we're going to try to find our way over there on a weekend when we have some time to do it.
So there was a teaser at a members-only event out there also, wasn't there? Or was that?
Yeah, I think we're going to do a members-only event, which you can't get into the members program anymore.
Yeah, members only is done now, but you know we're gonna play it out this year. I'm hoping that they do a great job and we do a great job with them, and then next year we'll just continue to build on it. Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to start a dating app. It's membersonly.com.
Yep. Only members. Only members.
Only members. yeah. I'm excited.
Anyways.
This is going to be a solid year. We got
It's
some
gonna be a fun
remotes
year.
that we're talking about. This is. I mean, we're starting to get finally into the warm weather. I think we got like a little splash of snow coming through sometime this week, but that's got a good chance of being it.
It's
I mean,
still
we'll
March.
see.
I mean, we're almost there.
We had those 70-degree days last week that just
They were
kinda
pretty
caught
nice.
everybody off guard.
Yep. They
So
were pretty
great.
fantastic.
Yeah, I was waiting to use the He's Belodo line really hard when we had
Yeah,
the Larrikin guy on here, but I didn't quite get to
We got to
it
fit in your
anywhere.
last bit of news here, Scott.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which news is that?
you know what it is.
You know.
No, you're going to remind me.
It's a facility.
Oh yeah. I should have a new read for this.
You do. This needs to be a
Right?
commercial.
I need to have a commercial for the Single Mom Center for Performing Arts. Are you a single mom? Are you looking for some extra cash? Come to the Single Mom Center for Performing Arts. Learn the art of poles.
Oh wow! Wow!
I literally have it here in all caps.
You too can take your top off and earn extra money at the Single Mom Center for Performing Arts.
Wow!
I heard that. I don't even remember who said it or what the
It
context
wasn't me.
was.
It was
But
him.
I was just dying laughing. It was the funniest thing I think I'd heard. It was
That's
like,
hilarious.
Single mom for Center for Performing Arts. I'm like, oh, strip club training.
Before we get too
Okay.
far, I do want to highlight the Jericho Hill. It's not one I've had before.
I've not had this
Oh,
one.
I've had it. It's
And
great.
I crushed it.
The good story behind this is actually this is a tribute to Johnny Cash.
Oh, is it really?
Did
Yeah,
not
I
know
didn't know
that.
And according to them, it's strong, medium strong profile, robusto. San Andreas wrapper, Nicaraguan filler binder, big on the pepper spice leather.
Yeah, I got a
think
lot
we're
of
all
that.
getting the pepper. But according to them, they said the Ballad of the Scorned Man named Willie Lee. If you remember the Johnny Cash from Folsom Prison
Yeah.
episode, album. It's his drug-induced rage got him arrested by the sheriff from Jericho Hill.
Okay.
And that's what the name of the cigar
There you go.
came from.
Interesting.
Interesting. I didn't know
Okay.
that.
So before we
Good tidbit
get
there.
too much into single moms, I figured we'd highlight the cigar real quick.
Yeah.
Well, I just killed mine, and I have this lingering citrus between that and the Larrikin.
The Larrikin did
Interesting.
bring out
Yes.
a lot of
Brought out a lot of
different
citrus,
spice.
but I
Yeah.
didn't get that with the purple.
No, the purple.
I got it with this one.
This one definitely
much
has
more
more of the
flavorful.
black pepper, which actually
Yeah,
black pepper
elevated.
comes across as citrus. on a
Yeah.
palate with
Did you get
whiskey.
to retro this
Yeah.
one yet?
I did. It was.
It's got a,
It's
it's got a bomb.
aggressive.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
You know, back to that purple though. What were you guys' overall thoughts of the purple?
I think that I think it was good.
Yeah.
It's good for their price point.
Yeah.
But I agree. I don't think that would be my number one. I think that would be like red, black, purple. Probably my order.
See, I'm probably red, purple, black right now.
That's fair.
Yeah, yeah.
I just like that it's
But I
another
loved it.
extremely well made cigar
Yeah.
that has great flavor transitions.
Yeah, not a lot
nice
of-
complexity.
Not like harsh transitions. It
No,
was
they're
pretty,
kind of soft.
Yeah.
the
Subtle.
whole barbecue smoked bacon fat kind of tail into that.
That was nice.
Just it surprised me. Like it was when that hit, I was puffing. You know, oh, this is really good. Holy shit, what the hell just happened?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it was that fast of a transition.
I almost feel like that's going to be a good end of the night cigar.
Yeah,
could see
yeah.
that.
I kind of
Yeah.
feel that way
It's-
too.
It's still got the profile of a medium strong, but it balances out toward the end of more of a fatty oil, kind of coating the palate and
Yep.
just kind of dwindling off kind of effect.
And for someone that gets a little bit more, the aggressive, like red pepper spices is a little too much for them, that'll be a good one to go to. Because you're not going to get that aggressive cayenne
Yeah, if
pepper,
you don't want
super
the harsh-
spice, water in your eyes.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that. But you get all the flavor, which is
Yeah.
kind of nice. I like that.
Lots of flavor.
It definitely did fill that window between the black and the red. Mm-hmm. And
It was
Even
beautiful.
though it was supposed to be between the blue and the red, I almost feel like it's more of in between the black and the red, of the same intensity but less, duration.
Yeah. Well, it makes me excited for what else they're coming out with, right?
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to have the yellow and
Yellow, green.
Green. Well, I don't know
yeah.
about yellow. They got green, white, and
oh,
orange.
green, white, orange. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
All
I think,
the colors.
I think
Yeah.
green's coming next, which we'll have that later this year. So
That's
Shout out to
exciting.
Keith, who's over here. We haven't.
Oh, hey.
What's
What's,
up,
happening?
bud?
Howdy, Keith.
Keith's
I
here.
see you
see you.
sneak in.
All right. I think we should wrap up and kill this bottle.
Let's kill it.
Oh, we got to save Will a pour, but
Yeah, we'll save like a half an
Well,
ounce.
Will can get his own.
yeah, Will's got to go get his own bottle, but we'll save him an ounce.
We'll save him some. Yeah.
Well, you can find me at both the visuals, Spencer Lee's, and don't forget to follow the Final Third podcast.
You can find me at Scotty D Smokes.
Moto Photo Will on Instagram.
you can find me everywhere. Final Third Cigar.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys listening in, and thanks, Craig, for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
Awesome guest. Definitely check out Larrikin if you ever get down to Lawrenceburg. Definitely check them out, and we will probably be having their product in here at some point here soon.
sure.
So,
Love it. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yep.
It's going to be on my show.
all right,
Yeah,
thanks a
mine
lot,
too.
guys.
Thanks,
we will see you
everybody.
next week.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.